back on track in this one for Cardiff. Their own poor run of recent form has seen their playoff hopes all but mathematically disappear. Mick McCarthy's side now building for next season. In terms of changes, Reading have made 2 from the defeat at Lucas Zhao start, whilst one off positions for Cardiff. It may already be too late for Mick McCarthy's side. McCarthy actually admitting as much in his pre-match press conference, I should say. They're 12 points top 6 with just 15 left to play for. I'm Tom McGarry and I'll be talking you through this evening's coverage. The match just getting underway. Cardiff, the visitors in their all orange kit this evening, get proceedings up and running. Reading, who will be going from left to right in this first half in their traditional blue and white colours, as almost an early opportunity for Cardiff. In fact, they've got a free kick right on the edge of the Reading penalty area. Harry Wilson's been upended. Liam Moore, the Reading captain, has brought him down. It's a bouncing ball that they both went for after Kiefer Moore won the initial flick on, and he was a little bit late, Moore. The one disappointing thing from a Cardiff point of view is they may feel Joe Rawls might have been in on goal and had an opportunity to get a strike away, but the referee opted to pull it back. John Brooks, the official this evening. And there was no real complaints from the Cardiff players. Perhaps Rawls was in an offside position. He may be one of the interested parties actually in taking this free kick. Will Volks is there. Harry Wilson as well, the man who was fouled. It's very left of centre, so it wouldn't necessarily naturally suit the left foot of Wilson. Maybe more the right-footed option. This is nervy times for Reading, who've put a 4-man wall in front of Raphael's goal as Wilson flicks it to Volts, who strikes it straight into the wall. Ajaria doing his job there to get the block in, and it deflects almost up towards the halfway line for a throw-in. But a bright start for Cardiff City nonetheless. 1 win in 7 for them coming into this game. 1 win in 6 it is for Reading, although that victory was in their last home fixture against Derby at the start of April. Cardiff's only win was away in the South Wales derby against Swansea back on March the 20th. I'll quickly run you through the two teams whilst Reading have possession deep inside their own half. Raphael is in goal for the hosts. Yadom, Holmes, Moore and Richards the back four. Rinham, Hotter and Lauren in the middle of the park, with Mete, Elise and Ajaria supporting Lucas Zhao, who's been preferred to George Pushkas up front today. 19 goals this season in the championship for Zhao, but struggling for form over recent weeks. For Cardiff, Alex Smithies is in goal. Nelson, Flint and Brown are the back three, with Sang and Unji as wing backs. Volts and Pack and Rawls in the middle of the park, with Wilson and Moore operating in a little and large, an old school front two up front for Mick McCarthy this evening. There's Reading with Tom Holmes at the heart of their defence. Works it out to Andy Yadom, the Ghanaian international. Cardiff pressing Reading hard, and Reading persisting with this, playing out from the back. Eventually Holmes will look long, and it's a good angle ball actually. At least they just slightly misjudged the flight of the ball, and Tom Sang's on the cover for Cardiff. Goes all the way back to his goalkeeper Smithies. There was some debate that he may drop out of the side this evening in favour of Dylan Phillips. A couple of errors in recent weeks which has disgruntled one or two supporters at the Cardiff City Stadium. Zhao drops deep to get first touch of the game for Reading. Finds Elise, who works it out to Ajaria out on the left-hand side. Overlapping run from Richards. Ajaria ignores him for the time being. Goes backwards instead towards Lauren. Now into Andy Rinham-Hotter. Zhao. Lovely little flick from Lucas Zhao. Just intercepted at the last minute by Aidan Flint. But possession quickly turns back over in Reading's favour. It's Yadom down the left-hand side. Finds Elise. Out towards Yadom once again. They work it back towards Holmes. Reading, after giving away that early dangerous-looking free kick, have monopolised possession since then. Tom Holmes down the line to Elise. Under pressure, shows good composure. Rinham-Hotter keeps the ball moving out towards Moore. Now Ovi Ajaria. Elegant player, Ajaria, former Liverpool youngster. Josh Lauren works it out to Holmes. And now Yadom can carry it over the halfway line once again for a very confident Reading team, it would seem, based on these opening 4.5 minutes. Moving the ball around with a lot of gusto. Eventually they get a free kick after Zhao was upended by Curtis Nelson. 25 yards or so inside the Cardiff half, mind, and Ajaria takes it short to the man who was fouled, Lucas Zhao. Rinham-Hotter out to Yadom, who's already proving a good outlet down the right-hand side. Trying to work in tandem with Yaku Meite. Yadom's now got space to run forward into, and he's into a crossing position. Tries to step over to get away from Unji, and in the end does a little bit too much there, Andy Yadom. And he carries it out of play for a throw. But positive possession-based football from Reading in these opening exchanges. Incidentally, there's another game that has kicked off at 6 o'clock in the Championship as well. It affects the other end of the table. Blackburn against Derby. Certainly in the case of Derby, they can't rest on their laurels as they sit just a place above the relegation zone. It's 0-0 in that match. I'll keep you updated as best I can if any goals go in at Ewood Park. And later this evening on this service, you can listen to the 8 o'clock kickoff in the Premier League between Everton and Tottenham. Two sides jostling for European positions in the top flight. And the top flight is where these two sides would like to be playing. Realistically, Cardiff aren't going to get there this season, but Reading still have that outside hope of getting into the playoffs and then trying to work their way back into the Premier League. They've not been there, the Royals, since 2013. It's Cardiff, though, who were last there a couple of years ago in possession of the ball. Kieran Brown down the line to Unji. Crunching challenge comes in from Yadom, and he catches Unji. It is just a free kick. A little bit over-exuberant there, Andy Yadom. It's a nice touch from Unji, actually, to get away from him initially. He almost lured the challenge in and then stepped over the top of Yadom. Free kick down on the left-hand touchline then for Cardiff City. Volks, who had the early strike from the direct free kick, stands over the ball. He goes short to Marlon Pack, 40 yards out, feints to shoot. Instead it works out to Wilson on the left-hand side. Wilson's cross doesn't beat the first man. Zhao back doing his defensive work, heads clear. Lawrence then sends it further up towards the halfway line, and Cardiff will have to recycle possession by going all the way back to Alex Smithies, who puts his right boot through the ball out towards Curtis Nelson, who stayed forward from the original free kick. Reading win the ball back though. Ajaria and Lawrence combine. Lawrence ball forward though is a little awry, and there might be an opportunity for Harry Wilson now to get a shot away. He does. It's blocked by Yadom. Holmes then clears down the channel for Reading. Meite claims that he should have a throw in there as he tried to roll Kieran Brown, but it is a Cardiff City ball, and they've gone with proceedings quickly. Brown going all the way back to Smithies once again. 7.5 minutes on the clock. Goalless between Reading and Cardiff. It's going to be a very interesting battle, this, because the two sides out of form, but they can't sit back and hope that they both need the win. Reading desperately to get back into the playoff picture. Cardiff, all right, you may have written off their playoff hopes, but that means they can relax a little bit, I suppose, and try and build some momentum for next season and end the campaign in a positive manner. They were so fabulous when Mick McCarthy first took over as manager, went on a superb winning run to move into playoff contention, but as I say, 1 win in 7 has put pay to that now. As Liam Moore, the Reading captain, Rolls it into the feet of Josh Laurent, who can turn and tee up Holmes. Yadom now. That crunching challenge he made on Perionji a few minutes ago was right in front of Mick McCarthy, who, although it was against his player, probably would appreciate that old school-like challenge. No-nonsense defender that McCarthy was back in his playing days. Tom Holmes again for Reading, seeing a lot of the ball in these opening exchanges. Almost asking the question there, where's the movement in front of me, as he is forced to go sideways to Liam Moore. And Holmes will get it once again. Cardiff not really applying much of a press. Holmes now will look long over the top, and it's a searching ball. Oh, couldn't quite get it under control there, Yadom, but he will still get a cross into the penalty area. And one or two of the players in blue and white were caught on their heels there. Yadom did well. Nobody was gambling, no one in the box to get on the end of that cutback. But probing stuff from Reading, who are looking to build again. Elise, lovely disguised ball into Ajaria, who tries to step away from Nelson. Important challenge from the Cardiff centre-back. It's not fully clear, though. It comes to Zhao on the edge of the area, but actually the referee has spotted, I think, an offside in and amongst that against Yaku Mete. So it'll be a free kick to Cardiff. Opening exchanges at the Medeski, still goalless between Reading and Cardiff. Cardiff had a free kick inside the opening minute from Will Volks that struck the Reading wall, and since then it's been all Reading in terms of the possession. They're not creating an awful lot, but you can see that patient approach that Veljko Paunovic likes his players to adopt. Andy Yadom's got forward to good effect on a couple of occasions down the right hand side, but no real shots to speak of as of yet for the home side, and it remains 0-0. Yeah, that'll be the only concern for Reading. They haven't looked like troubling really the Cardiff back line as of yet. And for all their possession, it is Cardiff who had the one shot on goal from Will Volts, although it didn't reach Raphael's goal. It was blocked by Ovi Ajaria in the wall. Goalless opening 10 minutes then at the Medeski between Reading and Cardiff. As though a Cardiff free kick out on the left-hand side once again. An opportunity for them to get the ball into the penalty area. Kiefer Moore, the obvious target. Aidan Flint, a big, tall central defender as well. And Harry Wilson and Will Volks, they have two players who can deliver really good set pieces. Cardiff are a threat in these situations. Wilson is walking away from the ball. He actually gets the pass, though, from Will Volks before going back to his Welsh international teammates. And it's a bit of a waste initially from Cardiff. The ball will break to Sang, who's jostling to try and get a cross into the area. Good persistent play from the right wing back. Kieran Brown's out there as well, helps the ball into the box. It'll break to Wilson on the edge of the area, and it's deflected by Aidan Flint, who was probably offside, it has to be said. Wilson's effort appeared to be going wide. Flint tried to divert it towards goal, but sent it beyond the opposite post to where the initial shot was heading. Not sure if he was offside in truth. I'm going to look at the replay now, which will give us the best view. And he was just offside. Not sure if the assistant referee did put his flag up. There's no VAR, of course, in the Championship, so it wouldn't have counted even if Aidan Flint had found the bottom corner. There's another Cardiff free kick, this time in the middle of the park. Elise has upended Volts. Flint will take the free kick, and he's lifted it forward early, spotting the run of Perionji out on the left-hand side, but so had Yadom. He coolly knocks the ball back to Raphael. Liam Moore now for Reading inside his own penalty area. Again, no real press from Cardiff, although as I say that, there is a bit of a push from Joe Rawls. Yadom now feeds it back in towards Liam Moore. And persist with the playing out from the back, Reading, and it has served them well for the majority of the season. Yadom down the line to Elise, has his pocket picked by the tenacious Volks. Pack now for Cardiff, into the feet of Kiefer Moore. Haven't seen much of the Welshman as of yet in this game. He finds Sang on the right hand side. Nelson has made a surge forward, and he's found by Tom Sang. Nelson goes back towards Pack, who's filling in now with Curtis Nelson having pushed forward. Brown on the other side of the defence. Goes down the line towards Unji. Crew Alexander, a player, but he's passed down the line there was a little bit telegraphed. Yadom able to intercept, but then Elise a bit lightweight in the challenge there with Volts, and Cardiff can come forward again. This is a better period for the visitors. Moore Coming to act as left winger, tries to dig out a cross. It'll break the way of Volks. Moore now back towards Volks once again. Heavy touch from Wilson, but Cardiff do retain possession. It's by far and away their best period of possession in the match so far. And they get a free kick again. Richards couldn't resist dangling a foot there on Sang, and it's an opportunity. Third free kick in a similar area really for Cardiff. They've had a couple from the left-hand side. This one now over on the right, but similar distance from the penalty spot, just on the other side of the pitch. So again, Flint will go forward. Nelson, who was already up there. And Kiefer Moore. Kieran Brown, I think one of the central... No, Kieran Brown has gone forward, so all three central defenders are in the box for for Cardiff. Will Volts will look to lift this ball into the penalty area. He has got Wilson on his outside if he wants to go short again, but that didn't really work to good effect on the last free kick, and Volks does stand it into the penalty area. Moore well positioned to head clear. It's a second ball as well there, Liam Moore, and he launches it up towards the halfway line. And Marlon Puck is there for Cardiff, and he recycles by going all the way back to Alex Smithies. Still goalless in the other Championship 6 o'clock kickoff, Blackburn versus Derby. 0-0 in this game as well between Reading and Cardiff. Ball with Tom Sang for Cardiff on the right hand side. Turns into a little bit of trouble, but again he gets the free kick. This time it's Ajaria who has been penalised. They've given away a lot of free kicks in these opening 15 minutes, Reading. And against a side like Cardiff City, who are so good in the air, physical, you don't want to give too many set pieces away. That one wasn't in a particularly dangerous area, it has to be said. Cardiff have worked it short, and Curtis Nelson will now try and clip the ball out towards the left-hand side. G does well to flick it on under pressure from Yadon, but Holmes is there to tidy up for Reading. Goes back towards his Brazilian goalkeeper Rafael. Now Moore. To Omar Richards, who of course signed that pre-contract agreement. He will join Bayern Munich in the summer. Oh, there's a chance though for Cardiff coming forward. Harry Wilson, lovely curling effort, and that's a brilliant save, low to his right-hand side from Rafael. Reading failed to clear their lines properly. It fell to Wilson 20 yards out, and it opened up for him and he curled it goalwards. It was a really good effort from Wilson, and Rafael did brilliantly to get down to his right hand side and make a really accomplished save. Best moment of the match for either side so far, and it's come for the visitors. Tom Sang now for Cardiff, under pressure deep inside his own half, supported by his goalkeeper Smithies, who's come out to the right hand side and will put his foot through the ball. Liam Moore heads it back from where it came. It'll break the way of Volks for Cardiff. Now Flint across to Brown. Angle ball down the channel by Kieran Brown. It's a good ball as well. Joe Rawls has made the run forward, fighting with Andy Rinham-Hotter, the two number 8s drawn together. Rawls will play the ball back now to the halfway line with Flint. Now Pack. Reverse pass from Marlon Pack into the feet of Harry Wilson, who was again allowed to turn by the Reading defenders. Can't squeeze a pass out to the left-hand side, and he stayed down now, Harry Wilson, clutching his right ankle. Referee John Brooks not interested in giving a free kick, and play will continue. Cardiff have the ball, and Wilson is back on his feet. Volks on the right-hand channel to Kiefer Moore, who allows Volks to take over, but it's a wayward pass downfield from him. Wilson is seemingly okay, incidentally. More unhappy that he didn't get the free kick rather than the pain in his foot. Liam Moore for Reading. To Holmes. Of course, no Michael Morrison at the moment for Reading. He's expected to miss the rest of the regular season with a hamstring injury. An important player for Reading this season, the central defender. May return if the Royals make it to the playoffs. And of course, as it stands, it is a big if, but a win in this game would take them to within 2 points of Barnsley and Bournemouth, who occupy the two final playoff positions at this moment in time. Put the pressure on those two sides heading into the weekend fixtures. Bournemouth is going away to league leaders and champions-elect Norwich. That will certainly not be easy. Barnsley away at Coventry, who are fighting for their lives down the other end of the table. So it would give Reading a big lift, and they're coming forward. Rinham Hotter, lovely reverse ball in towards Mayte, but it's good covering from Curtis Nelson, coming across from the right-hand side, the Cardiff City centre-back, and hooking it away, because when that ball was rolled through there, it looked like that Yaku Mayte was going to have a free shot on goal, but really, really good play from Curtis Nelson to get the challenge in. Just looking at a replay now of the save at the other end from Raphael to deny Wilson from a few minutes ago. You know where Wilson's going to put it, and he catches it really nicely, but it's really, really good goalkeeping at full stretch from Raphael to make the save. The other end, though, this is a Reading corner. Nelson's clearance actually going out for that rather than a throw. First set piece Reading have really had in a dangerous area. Elise's ball in, it's headed away comfortably at the front post by Kiefer Moore. Ajaria now for Reading, momentarily anyway down the right hand side. Oh, Yadon's giving the ball away there, and he's lucky to get away with that, and there's a few swiping challenges coming in from Will Volks from behind after the whistle had already blown. It's a free kick Reading's way. Yadon a little bit fortunate, because to be honest I think he committed the first foul after giving it away, but then threatened to boil over after that, but quickly diffused by the official. Reading have taken the free kick. Elise down the right hand side, back to Yadon. Holmes now just lets the ball run under his foot, but no one there in Cardiff Orange to capitalise on that small error. Holmes now with the ball at his feet and go back out towards Andy Yadon, and Reading forced all the way back to their goalkeeper Raphael, who made that save a few minutes ago. Former Sampdoria, Napoli player, started his career in Santos, is a Brazil international actually, with his 3 caps coming 9 years ago as part of their Olympic squad as well during the London Games back in 2012. He was Reading for a couple of seasons and been their regular number 1 ever since arriving. Rinham Hotter now for the home side, out towards Richards. As I mentioned earlier on, will be joining Bayern Munich in the summer. Signed that pre-contract agreement back in March. Highly rated, one of a number of highly rated youngsters at Reading, just 23 years of age, the England under-21 international. Ian Moore now for the hosts. He's across towards Holmes, who will clip the ball forward, angled out towards Yadom, who's beaten in the air by Unji. Drop the way though of Michael Elise for Reading. He volleys the ball back almost on the halfway line, back to Raphael, who has to react quickly with Wilson closing him down. Wasn't the kind of ball back from Michael Elise there that Raphael would have particularly appreciated, I imagine, but the goalkeeper did show good composure, as does Josh Laurent in the middle of the park for Reading. This pass forward towards Zhao doesn't come off. Sang now down the right hand side for Cardiff, supported by Volks. For an early angle ball out towards the left hand side, and G the target. It's a good ball as well, and G tries to volley it across goal half-heartedly and on his own, appeals for handball against Yadon. Referee not interested. Marlon Pack now for Cardiff. Good ball forward to Moore, but Holmes steps in with an important toe. Broke to Lucas Zhao, but not for the first time. His control not quite in there for Reading. Cardiff can come again and we'll get a free kick. Brown bustled over in, I'd say, a frustrated manner there from Yaku Mayte. Yeah, free kick to Reading. Just looking back at that appeal from Unji. It does strike Yadom on the arm inside his own penalty area. Again, it was a half-hearted appeal from Unji. No one else was interested. The referee certainly wasn't, and right decision made, you would suggest. As the free kick from Volt stood up towards the edge of the penalty area, always bounced into the penalty area after Flint missed the initial flick on. There was no one there in orange to capitalise in behind. Raphael will gather for Reading, and he's looked early up towards Lucas Zhao, who slips, claims he was fouled. Referee not interested. Zhao protests whilst he's sitting on the ground. He's got a wry smile on his face. No foul given. Cardiff meanwhile with Perry Unji on the left hand side, supported by Brown. Clips the ball down the channel towards Moore. Was he bundled to the floor there by Tom Holmes? No, says the referee. claim from Zhao at the other end for a foul. He may well have been bursting through on goal. He would have had a long way to run, 45 yards out. He was just in with Volks, and it was an accidental kind of both stumbling over. I don't think it was a foul. You just wonder if Zhao might have been able to keep his feet there and get on the end of the ball. Maybe I'm doing him a little bit of a disservice. Mate now, good strength from him for Reading, cutting in from the right-hand side. Feeds Elise. He just has to check before playing his ball forward to Ajaria, who returns it to the Frenchman. Michael Elise, born in Hammersmith, actually in England, but represents France at youth level, just 19 years of age. And a free kick now in the middle of the park. And looks like there's a strong challenge has gone in. Harry Wilson, Will Volks in discussions with the referees. A Reading player down on the floor. It was Elise who was caught late by Volks. One of those where he's trying to block the pass out, and he has caught Michael Elise, who appears to be okay. The referee, John Brooks, though, is going to have a word with Will Volks. There has been one or two hefty challenges, a little bit of niggle to the game so far. The referee just perhaps trying to stamp that out any more from anyone else, and we'll probably see the game's first yellow card. Free kick, though, to Reading. 40 yards out, right in the middle of the goal. Too far out, though, he would suggest for a strike, and Ajaria standing over the ball certainly doesn't look shaped to get a shot away. 25 minutes just about played in this game. Reading 0. Had the better opportunities, the one real effort on goal actually coming from the Bluebirds. Harry Wilson hitting the ball 25 yards out. The Reading defenders backed off him, and Wilson fought with that expert left foot of his. Why not? And he tried to curl it towards the corner. Really good effort, but great save low down to his right hand side from Raphael, the Reading goalkeeper, to keep Wilson's effort out. That's as good as it's got so far. It's Reading 0, Cardiff 0. Yeah, that's the one real effort, the one moment that either goalkeeper's really had to make a save. Cardiff have a throw in just about on the halfway line. Kieran Brown looks like he's preparing to launch this down the line. He's drying the ball on his shirt, and he will get some fair distance on that. Moore will flick it on. Breaks Reading's way though. Rinham Hotter goes back towards the Reading Moore, Liam Moore. Now Raphael clips it right-footed up towards the Reading right. Zhao and Flint jostling for the ball. Flint slides in and diverts it out to play for a throw-in. Mate takes it quickly back to Yadom. Good feet from Andy Yadom. Needs some support. Rinham Hotter into Laurent. Josh Laurent. I think he was wanting to play the ball out towards Richards, but comes back into the traffic. Holmes now for Reading. Across to Liam Moore. Tom Holmes again will carry it over the halfway line. Little flick from Zhao. It's a nice flick from Zhao as well. Elise, he's got Mata to his right. Zhao through the middle. Elise goes for goal. It's blocked. It'll break to Ajaria. Can he get a shot away? Over Ajaria. It's blocked again. This time Flint standing his ground. It spins out to the Reading right with Andy Yadom. Drives towards the edge of the penalty area. Supported by Ajaria. Ajaria twisting and turning. He needs a little bit of help now on the right. He's got it from Rinham Hotter, who returns the ball to Ajaria into the penalty area. Curler again, it's blocked, this time by Brown. Comes out to Elise, another shot blocked. Nelson getting his body in the way. It's a flurry of shots from Reading, but none of them can reach the goal until maybe now it's flicked on by Mate. After Elise's delicate ball into the penalty area. Mate's effort difficult technique on the volley. Comfortably saved by Alex Smithies. But 4 or 5 shots there, a plethora of efforts from Reading. But it ultimately comes to nothing. It certainly looked good on the statistics for Reading. They probably had 5 shots in the space of 30 seconds. Don't think they'd had any before then, in the opening 28.5 minutes. The clip ball in from Elise was really nice. And I wonder, Mate, he's trying to flick it on with the outside of his left boot, almost used the studs to punch it into the net, but I wonder if he could have had a better technique there. Oh, as Raphael, the Reading goalkeeper, is closed down by Kiefer Moore, who gets a block on the clearance, but it breaks Reading's way. That was a bit lackadaisical from the goalkeeper. He took far too long to get that ball clear, but he's got away with it as Richards now down the left-hand side for Reading, supported by Ejaria. Omar Richards once again. Rinham Hotter. Brings the pace, slows it down a little bit and assesses his options. Finds Ejaria, who holds off Nelson, who was certainly holding on there, Curtis Nelson. Ejaria can't find a pass through. Cardiff can clear, but in a game that has kind of swinged one way and then the other in terms of the possession, it seems to be Reading's turn to be seeing the majority of the ball. Although, as I say, that is now Curtis Nelson in possession for Cardiff. Finds Volks. Nelson once again, this time into Flint. Volks takes over again, finds Pack, and it's worked out to Kieran Brown, who will clip the ball down the left-hand side. It's one that Joe Rawls is chasing, but between Holmes and Raphael, Reading are able to tidy up comfortably enough. Omar Richards now for Reading. Down the line, wasn't the best ball to Ejaria, but it breaks back to the left back, and now Elise. Good footwork from him, works a nice ball out to the right hand side. Yadom looking to break forward, and G goes across to try and block Yadom's route forward. Zhao now for Reading. Gets it back off Rinham Hotter. Zhao, nice footwork to get away from Volks. He then slips as he tries to check back for a second time, and Volks can bite him with a challenge. He looks early over the top for Kiefer Moore. It's a foot race between him and Holmes, and the Reading man comes out on top. Game feeling a little bit stretched at the moment, though, without too many out-and-out chances being created. It doesn't feel like we're too far away, though, from perhaps a really meaningful moment in the game, as there's a clear push in the back there from Unji on Yadom, and that'll be a Reading free kick. 31 minutes on the clock, still goalless at the Medeski. Blackburn 0, Derby 1 elsewhere in the Championship. Tom Lawrence put in Derby in front. Game in League 2's just got underway as well. 6:30 kick-off between Crawley and the leaders Cheltenham. Still goalless in that one. There's Ejaria for Reading. Finds Rinham Hotter towards the halfway line. Elise starting to have more of an influence on the game. Michael Elise, as he's surely fouled there by Rawls, but Reading have possession, so the referee allows play to continue. And Meite's rode the challenge of Kieran Brown. He's breaking down the right-hand channel into the penalty area. He tries to cut it back. It's intercepted by Flint. Important interception as well, that from the Cardiff City defender. And now there might be a break on. Volks lifts it over the top, looking towards Wilson. Raphael, acting as sweeper keeper, does a decent job. Elise now in a right-back position for Reading. Let's hold the possession. Gets it back from the actual right-back there, Yadom. It goes to Laurent. Richards into Ejaria. Drops his shoulder and cuts in from the left. Finds Elise popping up absolutely everywhere now. And he releases Yadom down the right-hand side. First time cross blocked by the heels of Unji. Then manages to nudge it out of play for a throw. But there's a real good flow about the game at the moment. Nothing really to get you off the edge of your seat, but you certainly kind of push towards the edge part because there's plenty to keep you enthralled. As Yadom feels he should have had a free kick there. It did strike the arm of Perry Unji, but like with the penalty appeal at the other end, I think it would have been harsh. Elise now for Reading into the feet of Ejaria. Nice footwork towards the edge of the area. He then just loses where the ball was, and Cardiff are able to nip in, but Reading are biting back quicker at the moment. They're on top. Yadom into Mate. Good challenge from Brown though. Rules now for Cardiff. Body check there perhaps, but on the blind side of the referee after he played the ball. Cardiff had possession anyway. And G there, the referee spotted that body check from Rinham Hotter. It will be a free kick to Cardiff. In their left back position. Perhaps rather wisely, they're just going to take their time with this. McCarthy not looking too happy about something. Taking a water from the cooler that Cardiff have with them, but yeah, he's shaking his head at something. I'm not sure if he's unhappy with one or two of the challenges going in or something like that, but he's clearly a bit frustrated, the Cardiff City boss. And as I mentioned, they had that fabulous run when he first took over, winning 6 games in a row between February and early March, and beaten in 11 games in all before a defeat at Watford in the middle of March. Seemed to stem the flow, and they've been struggling ever since. Just one win since then. That's why their playoff push is seemingly over. Reading's is just about still alive though, and they have a free kick, the Royals. Offside given against Kiefer Moore. Yadom has it for the home side, feeds it forward towards Elise. Good sliding challenge though from Brown, biting at the heels of Reading's number 7. Wilson now for Cardiff. Rolls it back to Volks. Pack the clip ball out to the right hand side. Realised it was maybe a little bit too dangerous. Goes short to Brown instead on the left. His ball down the channel though is comfortably tidied up by Holmes. Into the final 10 minutes of the opening 45. Reading 0, Cardiff 0 it remains. Andy Rinham Hotter in the middle of the park for Reading. Out towards Richards. Ajaria gives it back to Omar Richards. Triangles are very neat from Reading inside their own half. Moore now. Across to Holmes. Ball out towards the right hand side. Yadom at full stretch. Has he managed to keep that in? Probably from a Reading point of view, it's a good thing he had him, because his header, in attempting to keep the ball in play, presented it straight to Kiefer Moore. It will there be a throw into Cardiff, just a yard or so inside the Reading half. Kieran Brown, as we've seen a little bit earlier on, does have a long throw, but he's going short on this occasion. Bit of kidology as he dried the ball before quickly throwing it on short to Flint, who switches the play out to Sang on the right hand side. He beats Richards in the air. It breaks to Wilson. Now Pack. Volks inside the centre circle. Brown down the line to Unji. Whips it round the corner. Moore showing good strength to hold off Holmes. Holmes sticks to his challenge, and then Unji and Moore seem to leave the ball for each other, and Reading were able to nip in. Rinham Hotter will clear upfield towards Zhao. It won't find Lucas Zhao though, and that's good refereeing from John Brooks, because he was trying to play the advantage, seeing where the pass was going, and Rinham Hotter actually getting back to his feet gives the referee a thumbs up there, appreciating the work of the official, which we don't always see. It's nice when we do. John Brooks, of course, the referee this evening. Reading worked the free kick out to the left-hand side with Richards. Now Liam Moore. Reading trying to get themselves back to winning ways. They had a 3-game winning run at the start of March, without even conceding actually in victories over Rotherham, Blackburn and Sheffield Wednesday. But since then, 3 draws, 1 win and 2 defeats has really curtailed their playoff hopes for the time being. Largely as well, it's not just their poor form, but the really good form of the likes of Bournemouth and Barnsley are just taking it away from the other teams in the playoff chase, which included Cardiff a few weeks ago. This is a free kick given against Ajaria there for a nudge in the back of Joe Rawls. He wasn't happy with the decision. Set piece is Cardiff's, and Simides is going to come 20 yards or so out of his goal to take this. So looks like he's just going to send this route 1 forward towards the edge of the Reading penalty area. It's actually a good angle ball out towards the left of the pitch to Unji, who gets it back off Rawls. Crosses a good one from Perry Unji. Holmes under pressure, does well to head clear. In fact, the referee's given a free kick there. There's a late challenge maybe from Wilson on Holmes as he was heading clear, which makes the clearance all the better from the Reading centre-back, who has possession at his feet now. Finds Rinham Hotter. Lawrence in the middle of the park for Reading. Driving forward. Ajari has dropped deep to get involved as well. Moore across to Holmes. Two centre-backs seeing plenty of the ball for Reading in this game. They have dominated the majority of the possession, you would suggest. In terms of the statistics, it is 62% in Reading's favour. Liam Moore goes long this time, looking for the run of either Zhao or Mate. It looks like Mate's pushed more into the middle over recent minutes to play alongside Lucas Zhao. Raphael for Reading, the goalkeeper, clips it up towards Yadom. He's beaten in the air by Unji. Pak won't challenge for the ball because he was coming back from an offside position, and it'll run back through to Raphael once again. Reading 0, Cardiff 0. 6 minutes plus stoppage time to play at the end of the first half. It's been intriguing. It's had a real good pace to it at times as well. You feel like maybe the two sides sussing each other out. We mentioned Reading in particular really need to go for the win in the second half. Cardiff have nothing really to lose in that sense, so hopefully it will open up as the game develops. Tom Holmes for Reading clips the ball up towards Yaku Mate, who lays it off to Elise. Now is Jaria. Elise and Ajaria, the two players trying to make things happen for Reading. Ajaria out to Richards on the left. Ajaria's overlapped. Richards ignores him, dinks a good cross out towards the far post, and with Mate coming in at that far stick, Unji did the right thing, couldn't take any chances there, the Cardiff wing back, and just nudged it behind for a corner. Really good cross though from Omar Richards to dig it out from that position. And Unji, safety first approach. This is just Reading's second corner of this first half. And the quality would be good from Elise. It is. It's almost flicked on by Josh Lawrence at the front post, but it breaks out of the penalty area. Now Cardiff are breaking forward. It's Curtis Nelson leading the charge. He spotted the run of Volks over on the left-hand side. Volks will get there ahead of Rinham Hotter. He's running out of room there. Volks down the left-hand side, and in the end, it's gone out for a throw. It is a Cardiff City one, though, and we know Will Volks has a very long throw. He's drying the ball. Kieran Brown's shown he does as well, but I don't think his delivery from these positions is quite in the same remit as Volks. Aidan Flint's coming forward from the back for this throw. Curtis Nelson already in the penalty area. Alongside, as we mentioned, the obvious aerial threat of Kiefer Moore. As Volks does wind up this throw in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Like a fairly obvious push there from Nelson, who may feel he was getting nudged from behind himself, but his push sent the Reading player Yadom to the floor. It will be a free kick to Reading inside their own penalty area. Get a new ball onto the pitch. I'm not sure we need that. Tom Holmes has just booted the ball back off, so just a mistake there. So the free kick can be taken short. Raphael to Moore. Holmes now works out to Yadom on the right-hand side. Holmes will now clip down the channel. Hasn't quite got his long-range passing in top order yet, Tom Holmes, as that one goes out of play for a throw. Brown takes it on the halfway line quickly for Cardiff. Back to Flint. I can tell you there's been another goal in the other championship game taking place this evening, and it's all square at Ewood Park. Blackburn have levelled things up 1-1 in their match with Derby. I'll confirm you the score in a second, as Rawls making good headway down the left-hand side for Cardiff, and his attempted cross blocks off the heels of Rinham Hotter and behind for a corner to the visitors. Sam Gallagher is the scorer for Blackburn, cancelling out Tom Lawrence's opener. Blackburn 1, Derby 1 in that game. 0-0 in the League 2 match that kicked off at 6:30 between Crawley and Cheltenham. 14 minutes on the clock in that one. The Blackburn game, like this one, is ticking into the latter stages of the first half. We've got 2 minutes plus stoppage time to play at the end of the opening 45 as Will Vaulks whips the cross in towards the far post. It's a Cardiff head that gets there. Kieran Brown trying to keep the ball in play, manages to nod it back across goal, but Reading are able to scramble it clear. Sang will help it back into the area for Cardiff. Holmes beats Brown in the air on this occasion. It comes Cardiff City's way once again. This time cross from Mungie into the box and aimed at Aidan Flint, and his sheer presence there forces Liam Moore to concede another corner for Cardiff. But that was an early moment from the last set piece for the visitors. And Reading slightly on the ropes, it has to be said. They are a threat from set pieces. Those players I've mentioned, the likes of Flint, Nelson, Moore, all really, really strong in the air, as Wilson will take this corner from the other side, the right-hand flank for Cardiff, in towards the near post. Brown misses his header actually, and Zhao's able to head clear. It comes back to the corner taker Wilson, who lifts it back into the box. Flint's bundled to the ground there under the challenge of Richards, but Richards was, in the eyes of the referee, doing just about enough there, and it will run out of play for a goal kick. Yeah, a couple of nearly moments there for Cardiff. Was a little nudge from Richards in the back of Aidan Flint, but probably within the remit of the laws, and there wasn't any appealing from Flint, who I'm sure does much worse at the other end when he's defending set pieces, which is probably why he's not crying wolf in that situation. Not every piece of contact in the penalty area should be a penalty. The ball's cleared forward by Raphael for Reading. Pack wins the aerial duel for Cardiff in the middle of the park, but it breaks the way of Elise. Reading can look to build. Yadom down the right-hand side. On the halfway line. As we reach the 45-minute mark, we are going to have one additional minute at the end of this first half. Yadom goes long towards Zhao, who's wrestling with Nelson. Cardiff scramble it clear. Comes to Elise, though. He can't quite combine with Rinham Hotter. And then Rawls shows good composure for Cardiff. Works it out to Sang on the right-hand side. He lifts the ball forward, looking for Kiefer Moore, who flicks it on. Can't quite find Wilson with his knockdown. Richards then takes a little bit of a chance as he's closed down by Rawls, but he will get the free kick, which Reading take quickly. Maybe time for one last attack before the half-time break. Reading 0, Cardiff 0. Jaria for the home side. Gets it back off Elise. Now it goes towards the left-hand flank, but it's a really poor ball from Ajaria. It was right in between Laurent and Richards. Cardiff pinch it back, but only momentarily. Ajaria is then fouled by Marlon Pack. We've had the minute of stoppage time, so Reading go with it quickly. Elise towards the edge of the area. Finds Yadam right-hand side. Can he get a cross in? He pulls it back towards Elise, but Elise was caught on his heels. Vaulks was there to nip in, and that is the half-time break then. So not too many goal-scoring opportunities, but an intriguing first half between these two sides. At the break, it's Reading 0, Cardiff 0. Join us for second half coverage shortly. It's goalless at the break between Reading and Cardiff. It's been played at a really good pace, this game, but not too many goal-scoring opportunities. A decent opportunity apiece, you'd maybe say. Cardiff had the best chance. Harry Wilson's curling effort from the edge of the area was superbly saved by Reading goalkeeper Raphael. At the other end, Michael Elise's delicate ball into the box was flicked goalwards by Yaku Mete, but that was a Effort from the edge of the area was superbly saved by Reading goalkeeper Raphael. At the other end, Michael Olise's delicate ball into the box was flicked goalwards by Yaku Mete, but that was a rather more routine save for Alex Smithies in the Cardiff goal. So goalless at half-time. It's goalless at the break between Reading and Cardiff. It's been played at a really good pace this game, but not too many goal-scoring opportunities. A decent opportunity apiece, you'd maybe say. Cardiff had the best chance. Harry Wilson's curling effort from the edge of the area was superbly saved by Reading goalkeeper Raphael. At the other end, Michael Olise's delicate ball into the box was flicked goalwards by Yaku Mete, but that was a rather more routine save for Alex Smithies in the Cardiff goal. So goalless at half-time. It's goalless at the break between Reading and Cardiff. It's been played at a really good pace this game, but not too many goal-scoring opportunities. A decent opportunity apiece, you'd maybe say. Cardiff had the best chance. Harry Wilson's curling effort from the edge of the area was superbly saved by Reading goalkeeper Raphael. At the other end, Michael Olise's delicate ball into the box was flicked goalwards by Yaku Mete, but that was a rather more routine save for Alex Smithies in the Cardiff goal. So goalless at half-time. It's goalless at the break between Reading and Cardiff. It's been played at a really good pace this game, but not too many goal-scoring opportunities. A decent opportunity apiece, you'd maybe say. Cardiff had the best chance. Harry Wilson's curling effort from the edge of the area was superbly saved by Reading goalkeeper Raphael. At the other end, Michael Olise's delicate ball into the box was flicked goalwards by Yaku Mete, but that was a rather more routine save for Alex Smithies in the Cardiff goal. So goalless at half-time. It's goalless at the break between Reading and Cardiff. It's been played at a really good pace this game, but not too many goal-scoring opportunities. A decent opportunity apiece, you'd maybe say. Cardiff had the best chance. Harry Wilson's curling effort from the edge of the area was superbly saved by Reading goalkeeper Raphael. At the other end, Michael Olise's delicate ball into the box was flicked goalwards by Yaku Mete, but that was a rather more routine save for Alex Smithies in the Cardiff goal. So goalless at half-time. It's goalless at the break between Reading and Cardiff. It's been played at a really good pace this game, but not too many goal-scoring opportunities. A decent opportunity apiece, you'd maybe say. Cardiff had the best chance. Harry Wilson's curling effort from the edge of the area was superbly saved by Reading goalkeeper Raphael. At the other end, Michael Olise's delicate ball into the box was flicked goalwards by Yaku Mete, but that was a rather more routine save for Alex Smithies in the Cardiff goal. So goalless at half-time. It's goalless at the break between Reading and Cardiff. It's been played at a really good pace this game, but not too many effort from the edge of the area was saved by Reading goalkeeper Raphael. It's goalless at the and Cardiff. It's been played at a really good pace this game, but not too many goal-scoring opportunities. A decent opportunity apiece, you'd maybe say. Cardiff had the best chance. Harry Wilson's curling effort from the edge of the area was superbly saved by Reading goalkeeper Raphael. At the other end, Michael Olise's delicate ball into the box was flicked goalwards by Yaku Mete, but that was a rather more routine save for Alex Smithies in the Cardiff goal. So goalless. By Yaku Mete, but that was a rather more routine save for Alex Smithies in the Cardiff goal. So goalless at half-time. It's goalless at the break between Reading and Cardiff. It's been played at a really good pace this game, but not too many goal-scoring opportunities. A a decent opportunity apiece, you'd maybe say. Cardiff had the best chance. Harry Wilson's curling effort from the edge of the area was superbly saved by Reading goalkeeper Raphael. At the other end, Michael Elise's delicate ball into the box was flicked goalwards by Yaku Mete, but that was a rather more routine save for Alex Smithies in the Cardiff goal. So goalless at half-time. It's goalless at the break between Reading and Cardiff. It's been played ball into the box was flicked goalwards by Yaku Mete, but that was a rather more routine save for Alex Smithies in the Cardiff goal. So goalless at half-time. And it's a very warm welcome back to our independent off-tube studio commentary of this championship clash between Reading and Cardiff. As you were just hearing, it's 0-0 heading into the second half, which has just got underway. No changes made by either manager at the break. We'll be hoping for a bit more attacking quality from both sides, as despite the game being played at a decent tempo, chances were at a premium early doors. And inside the opening seconds of this second half, we do have a stoppage. Reading player's gone down. Lucas Jowie challenging for the ball with Curtis Nelson, and just got caught by the arm of Nelson, I think, as they were both jostling in the air. It's a free kick to Reading. I don't think it's any more than that. Oh no, he's just got a yellow card out there, the referee, for Curtis Nelson. He can't quite believe it. A stray arm, you would probably say, from the Cardiff City player, but I don't know how intentional it was. Fifth yellow card of the season for Nelson. And Zhao is still on the floor receiving treatment, so a bit of a false start to this second half. He's jumping with both arms in the air, Nelson. He's grappling with Zhao, but I don't think he's intending to whack him in the face. His left arm coming across that, I think, catches the Portuguese striker. Reading's top scorer this season. It was a very delayed decision from the referee to give him a yellow card. There's some disbelieving, wry smiles on the faces of two or three Reading players that were gathered round. Zhao is back on his feet. Looks like he may have drawn blood from his nose. And he'll have to go off the pitch, so he won't be able to get in the middle for this free kick, which is in a dangerous position for Reading to lift the ball into the box. Left-hand side, left to centre, really. About 35 yards from goal. Elise and Ajaria are standing over it. About 2 minutes, over 2 minutes of the second half, and this is really the first period of play. Would it be the outswinger of Elise or the inswinger of Ajaria? Ajaria steps over the ball. Elise swings it in. It's headed away by Flint. Comes to the edge of the area with Josh Laurent for Reading. He releases Yadom down the right-hand side. Can he deliver across? He stands it towards the penalty spot. Again, it's Flint who gets his head in the way. Wilson then misjudges the flight of the ball, and strong challenge comes in from Marlon Pack to win it back for Cardiff City, but then a stray ball from Harry Wilson gives it away again. So Reading can start on the front foot once more. Ajaria forward to Zhao, who's back on the pitch. A bandage coming from his nose just to stem the flow of the blood, I would suggest. Josh Laurent out towards Elise on the left-hand flank. Lovely turn from Ajaria to get away from Volts. He's breaking to the penalty area now, into the box, over Ajaria, but then he just runs into an orange wall of 3 or 4 players, and just at that vital moment seemed to lose his bearings and didn't quite know what to do with the ball there, Ajaria. The first part was brilliant. Second part needed a bit of work. It's Cardiff have a throw-in now down the right-hand side, but the way he turned away from Volks initially was first class from Ajaria, and he danced into the penalty area, and then he needed to make a decision, either have a shot or look for a teammate. He did neither in the end, and rather just ran into the defenders, made it all too easy for those Cardiff players. A couple of moments like that he had in the first half as well, Ajaria. Still a young player, and you feel it will come, and if it does come, he'll be a top quality player pushing for in the Premier League. Just 23 years of age, joined on a permanent basis from Liverpool last summer after a successful loan spell. A couple of loan spells he had over the course of the 2 previous seasons. Reading now a throw midway inside their own half. Richards goes back towards Liam Moore. Turn goes all the way back to Raphael, who's closed down by Kiefer Moore. Sends the ball along the goalkeeper. It'll break the way of Ajaria into Elise. He's trying to step away from Pack, who was rugged with the challenge, shall we say, and it's a free kick, and it's going to be a yellow card. The referee kept his cards in his pocket for the whole of the first half, but less than 5 minutes into the second period, and 2 Cardiff players are already booked. Pack following Curtis Nelson into John Brooks' notebook. And that one was a little bit harsh, although the referee will probably argue that Pack was stopping Elise from breaking forward into a dangerous area. It's his 4th yellow card of the season, incidentally. And Elise, the man fouled, is standing over the free kick. The very highly rated teenager, just 19 years of age. 6 goals already this season. It's crossing there. It's just a little bit too deep, too much on it. Comfortably claimed by Alex Smithies. He was looking there, Smithies, for a quick out ball, but I think everyone was back defending the free kick from a Cardiff point of view, so he's just going to have to retain possession, the goalkeeper. Eventually does send it out towards the right hand side. Kiefer Moore's able to chest it down. Finds Sang, who's forced backwards by a couple of Reading players. Nelson then feeds it into Pack. That's a loose touch though from Marlon Pack. Ajaria nips in. He was fouled by Sang. Referee plays an advantage. Elise out towards Mate on the right hand side. Cutting in field onto his favoured left foot. Finds Elise once again. Elise keeps it moving. Ajaria will take over. 25 yards from goal. Ovie Ajaria curls it towards the target, but a routine save for Smithies. Ajaria then asking for the card, I think, towards Tom Sang, who fouled him at the start of that move. It's not forthcoming on this occasion. Of course, we don't really like to see players advocating for opponents to get booked. Smithies sends the ball long for Cardiff, who've started this second half on the back foot. And it's still goalless, though. Hidden Flint for Cardiff. Forward towards Ng, but Flint was fouled there by Yaku Mate, so play will be brought back. Still looks like he's asking for the yellow card, actually, Ajaria. Puzzled look on his face. He's making his 100th appearance in English League football this evening. Incidentally, he has had a spell in Scotland as well with Rangers. A lone spell during his time as a Liverpool player. Had a couple of league appearances during his time at Anfield, also featured on loan at Sunderland, but the vast majority of those 100 appearances have come for Reading. As Raphael sends the ball out towards the Reading right. Knocked down by Mate. Zhao holds the ball up nicely to hold off Flint. It's now worked out to the left with Ovie Ajaria. Richards overlapping. Omar Richards into the penalty area. Can he dig out a cross? He can. Headed away by Flint. Clearance completed by Volts, but it will be a Reading throw-in, so they can keep the pressure on the home side. Clearly, Veljko Paunovic has had words with his players, asked them to up the tempo at the start of this second half, and they've duly obliged as Elise releases Yadom down the right-hand side. He's taking on Perry Young-G, gets to the byline, digs out a good-looking cross, headed clear by Nelson. It'll break to Joe Rawls for Cardiff, who goes for a no-nonsense clearance upfield, but Reading will look to come again. The initiative is with the home side. Josh Laurent writes a couple of challenges brilliantly. He's then fouled by Pack, who is on a yellow card now. Laurent's going to stay down. Just wonder if Marlon Pack's going to get a warning towards the referee. It's a not too dissimilar challenge. I mean, there's nothing in it. I don't think it's a yellow card offence, but it's not too dissimilar to the one that saw him booked when he brought down Elise just a couple of minutes ago. Concerned look on Mick McCarthy's face, though, the Cardiff boss. It's another free kick in a dangerous area for Reading on the left-hand side. Again, it looks like it's going to be between Elise and Ajaria to take. Andy Yadom going across just to have a word, and so is Tom Holmes, actually. I think the two defenders telling the player standing over the set piece exactly where they want it. In the mixer, I'd probably be along those lines, I'd imagine. As Holmes now takes his position back in the box. It's actually rolled down the line. It's nice from Elise into Zhao, who turns, spins, shot away. Good save from Smithies. Zhao stayed down in the penalty area, clutching his shoulder, and looks to be in a bit of discomfort. But I said Tom Holmes was telling them get it in the mixer. he wasn't. It was really clever, and Holmes actually blocked the run of Will Vaulks brilliantly to allow the space for João to turn and shoot. It was a good effort, but well saved as well by Smithies. You'd expect him to save at the front post. But by far and away, Reading's best moment in the match so far. It shows they have made such a strong start to this second half. Still goalless between Reading and Cardiff at the start of this second half at the Medeski Stadium, but clearly Reading boss Veljko Paunovic has had words with his players at the half-time break, because they've made a really fast start to this second half, dominating the possession and territory, but there's a bit of purpose about their play as well. Lucas João just had a really good effort from a cleverly worked free kick by Michael Elise. João drawing a save from Alex Smithies. João's actually injured his shoulder in making that effort towards goal, and there's doubts about whether he'll be able to continue, but a positive start to the second half from Reading. Cardiff have work to do. It remains 0-0. João still down receiving treatment. It's not related to the facial injury he picked up earlier in the challenge with Curtis Nelson. He seems to have landed awkwardly on his shoulder as he was turning, swiveling to hit that shot. All in one movement, he's landed on the floor, and I think he's just landed on the top of that right shoulder. He immediately knew and had a concerned look on his face. He's only a couple of yards away from the touchline, so that suggests that there are concerns, because they can't just shovel him off the pitch. They need to be careful with him. George Puskás, who scored twice in the 3-0 home win against Cardiff last season, is the obvious replacement. The man João himself replaced in the starting lineup for Reading. He's going for a warm-up, the Romanian international. It doesn't look good for Lucas João in terms of continuing in this game, it has to be said. Player who scored 19 goals this season for Reading in the Championship. Made a blistering start to the campaign. Scored in the recent victory against Derby, but he's only got 2 since the middle of February. Be a huge blow to lose him, not just for the remainder of this game, as Reading are pushing for an equalising goal, but potentially for a longer period, and with only 4 games remaining for Reading in the regular season after this, and then they'll be hoping a potential playoff push. Any kind of injury is a real concern. They've got João sitting back up now, the doctors, but that's as far as they've got, and George Puskás is getting ready to come on. He scored a brace against Cardiff in this fixture last season. Just the 4 league goals this campaign for the Romanian. He'll be hoping to feature for his country at this summer. Well, that's what I was going to say, but they're not at the European Championships, Romania. But Puskás is coming on, the number 47 for João, who's clearly in discomfort. I hope he hasn't dislocated it or anything like that. He's in a lot of pain, and Puskás is on in his place. First change of the evening. Reading 0, Cardiff 0 it remains. And another worrying thing for Reading is they were building such good momentum there before João's injury that could well have quelled the momentum as well. Cardiff will have had a chance to regroup, and I'm sure Mick McCarthy would have got plenty of words onto his players there during that interlude. Still 1-1 incidentally in the other Championship game this evening. Also a 6 o'clock kickoff between Blackburn and Derby. In League 2, it's approaching half-time, still goalless between Crawley and Cheltenham. Later this evening, available on this service in the Premier League, Everton will be taking on Tottenham Hotspur. As Puskás gets his first involvement for Reading, holding the play up. Flint pokes in with a challenge. It'll be a throw into the Royals. You see João still making his way gingerly round the pitch, holding that right arm. Definitely in a lot of pain there, Lucas João. Ball now with Moore for Reading. Moore, the captain. The switch out to the right-hand side. Brown makes sure it doesn't reach Meite, who was the intended target, but they can't get a foothold in the game at the moment, Cardiff City. Laurent bringing the ball forward from the back for Reading. Into the feet of Elise. Oh, he nutmegs Kieran Brown. Finds Meite on the right-hand side. He wants to work onto his left foot. Gets a shot away. It deflects off Perry Unji and behind for a corner. Reading is still probing at the start of this second half. The incentive is there for them. They need to close this gap on the top six, and they're playing now, really for the first time in the game, like a side who know they have to up the ante and push. Draws aren't good enough at this stage of the season, really, for Reading. They need to put the pressure on the likes of Bournemouth and Barnsley. Jarius and Elise standing over the corner. It's Elise who sends it towards the far post. Puskás gets his head to it, but it'll land comfortably into the hands of Alex Smithies, who is looking early to try and release Harry Wilson. Who fouls Elise, so it'll be a free kick to Reading. I thought Alex Smithies, in truth, would have looked to hold on to the ball there, the Cardiff City goalkeeper, to give his defenders a bit of a breather and give them a chance to push up the pitch. Perhaps he'd spotted that run of Wilson and was trying to exploit Reading having bodies forward for the original set piece. As Laurent for the home side to Elise, out to Ajaria, left hand side. Dancing footwork and great skills from Ajaria. Finds Richards, who in turn shows good footwork. There'll be a throw into Reading as Sang is able to nip in with a challenge. Richards stands over the throw, goes back towards Rinham Hotter. He can't quite squeeze his pass through towards Elise, and it'll be another Reading throw. Omar Richards, Andy Rinham Hotter, all very tight down that left hand side, but they're retaining possession, Reading, and trying to make ground. Puskás getting involved. Back to Rinham Hotter it goes. Moore nips in though. Kiefer Moore with a good challenge. And Cardiff do win possession back. Nelson to his goalkeeper Smithies. He angles the ball upfield, looking towards Joe Rawls, but Tom Holmes shows some good composure there, just to cushion it down to Andy Yadom. 61.5 minutes on the clock. Reading 0, Cardiff 0. Liam Moore for Reading, with a side that need to find a way through. Really, they need to push for the playoffs. Cardiff are already really out of playoff contention. As Richards, great run, finds Elise in the area. He tries to tee up a teammate. It's half cleared by Kieran Brown. Anyway, we'll do them for Will Volts, who sends it into the air. It's a throw-in for Reading on their left-hand side. Some of the substitutes there for the Royals acting as ball boys to try and keep the momentum going for their side. Yadom works it out to Meite, looking to take on Unji. Gets a cross into the box, but it's straight down the throat of Alex Smithies, who can comfortably hold on, and this time he does just slow things down, the goalkeeper, to try and take the sting out of proceedings. We've had 17 minutes of this second half. Second period that has been dominated by Reading so far, but it remains goalless. Reading now is 63% of the ball over the course of this game. 66% if you just include the second half, and I'd say 66 and rising. You would have to point out, as they have the ball again, the Royals, with their goalkeeper Raphael, who hasn't had much to do at the start of this second period. Made that great save from Harry Wilson in the first half, of course, the Brazilian. One ball forward there from Yadom, and Flint trying to cushion it down for a teammate, I think, but it's gone out of play for a throw, which Rinham Hotter will take. To the feet of Meite, who's battling and comes away with the ball actually on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, lovely skill from Meite. He goes down in the area. Kieran Brown with the challenge. He went down a bit theatrically and belatedly, perhaps, Meite. I think the referee was probably influenced by the fact that he probably wasn't getting on the end of the ball, but he showed good persistence to start with, the Reading number 11. Flicked it through the legs of Brown, who was holding on initially. Probably, you would have to say, let go just in the nick of time. And no penalty was awarded. Throw in from Brown now, down the line towards Kiefer Moore. Breaks in field to Nelson for Cardiff. Now Sang. Down the line to Wilson, who tries to turn, but loses possession. Again, I think he wants a foul. He's not going to get it. Josh Laurent for Reading in towards Elise, but Bowles is able to nip in just for a split second, but Reading will come forward again. Yadom down the right-hand side, working in tandem with Mate, who's having a much more influential second half. Good challenge, though, from Ng. Was it? No. Between the referee and his assistant, they've decided it was a foul. Mate there showing good positivity, driving with the ball, and Ng did lunge in slightly. Got the ball, but I think he got Mate first. So again, the officials getting the correct decision. It's a free kick on the right-hand side, just a yard or so out of the penalty area. I'm not sure, we're just looking at the replay there of the foul. And we come back and we see the referee talking to an annoyed Jacku Mate. Aidan Flint's over there as well. It's all smiles now. Not quite sure what that was all about in truth, but you know, it's friendly-ish, I would say. Smiling through gritted teeth, perhaps, but both players take their places in the penalty area. There's 3 Reading players standing over this free kick. As I say, just a yard out of the penalty area on the right-hand side. Elise and Yadom are there. Liam Moore's over there, giving perhaps 1 or 2 instructions, the skipper, and we saw the inventiveness they showed when Tom Holmes did that from the last free kick of note. I can tell you Blackburn have gone 2-1 up actually in that big game at the bottom end of the table against Derby at Ewood Park. Come from behind to lead Rovers. I'll give you confirmation of the scorer shortly after this free kick for Reading, which Elise takes towards the edge of the penalty area, but it was spotted by Marlon Pack. Ajaria was the replaced by Josh Murphy, who dropped down to the bench for this game. He's coming on. I imagine Joe Rawls will drop back alongside Will Volks in defence in the middle of the park, and Murphy will go up front, and between him and Wilson they'll play either side of Kiefer Moore. More of a 3-4-3 formation now, you'd imagine, for the visitors. Josh Murphy on, first change of the game for Cardiff. Reading have also used that enforced substitution, with Lucas Zhao going off with what looks like a shoulder injury. Seemed to be in plenty of discomfort. I wish him the best. George Pushkas came on in his place. Josh Laurent bringing the ball forward for Reading into the final 20 minutes. Reading 0, Cardiff 0. Omar Richards infield to Liam Moore. Now Laurent again. Goes across to Holmes. He keeps the ball moving out to Yadom on the right-hand side. Nice footwork from him. Steps away from the substitute Murphy. Driving into Cardiff territory now, Andy Yadom. All the way himself towards the byline. Tries to dig out a cross. He's crowded out. And G will have to play his way out from the back for Cardiff. It's worked to Murphy. Now Volks. The ball moving out towards the Cardiff right-hand side. Tom Sang, who's ball infield, deflects off Richards, falls to Moore, but his layoff was short for Volks. Reading can pick up the pieces, one or two Cardiff players out of position. Richards leading the drive into Laurent. He's driving forward and he fancies a strike towards goal there, Josh Laurent. It's a wild one over the top of the crossbar. Overall, Reading's probing. They are being limited to pot shots generally from range, and despite Cardiff not seeing much of the ball and showing much of an attacking threat in this second half, we do have to praise the Bluebirds' defensive play in limiting, despite all of Reading's possession, the chances for the home team. Elko Paunovic deep in conversation with his coaching team, which includes former Manchester United player Quinton Fortune and another United former player John O'Shea. There's plenty of winning experience and mentality on that Reading coaching setup. Can they conjure up all these closing exchanges? Because they do, as we keep saying, the draw doesn't end their playoff hopes, but they really need wins, Reading, at this stage, and it's an opportunity for the other two teams playing tomorrow. Barnsley away at Coventry and Bournemouth away at the champions-elect Norwich. It's an opportunity for Reading to put the pressure on again and win, and they could potentially end the weekend just 2 points out of the playoff positions. But Cardiff are coming forward. It could, of course, get worse for Reading, but Harry Wilson's heavy touch allows Holmes to come across, and the centre-back tidies up to good effect. Liam Moore now for Reading. Out towards Yadom. It's certainly been a much more impressive second half display from Reading, with plenty more urgency, although that's a poor ball forward from Yadom. Comfortably gathered by Smithies for Cardiff. Nelson down the line. Wilson squeezes it infield. Nice turn from Volks, right to the challenge of Laurent, and clips a ball down the channel, but there's no one there in orange. It can comfortably be gathered by Raphael on the edge of his own penalty area. He feeds it to Laurent. And left it goes to Richards, who's challenged by Wilson. It'll be a throw-in to Reading. Still 2-1 between Blackburn and Derby. Bad result for Wayne Rooney's side if it finishes like that into the final 15 minutes in that game. It kicked off at 6 o'clock as well. Our game just a couple of minutes behind that one. About 16 minutes plus stoppage time to play in this game. Reading 0, Cardiff 0. Richards driving forward, feeds it infield to Ajaria. Now Elise, lovely footwork from Michael Elise. Plays it out to Richards on the left-hand side. Cross blocked by Sang. Comes back to Richards. He tees up Elise. He'll lift the ball into penalty area. He'll attempt to. That one was blocked by Wilson. Comes the way of Richards now. He takes on Sang. Gets to the byline. Drills it into the 6-yard box. It's cleared away by Joe Rawls. Only though at the expense of a throw-in. Omar Richards having a much more influential role in this second half. Seeing the ball a lot higher up the pitch as he's involved again in the penalty area. Can't quite turn into space. Cardiff can clear. towards Kiefer Moore. Lovely touch on the sideline. Moore's touch took him out of play. Veljko Paunovic, who was a former international footballer, of course, with Serbia and Montenegro, scored in a national game against Northern Ireland, actually, his only international goal. He showed his international qualities there with his footwork on the side. As Reading are preparing their second change, and John Swift, who's been out injured over recent weeks, returning to the bench this evening. Looks like he's going to come on for the final 15 minutes or so. England under-21 internationals across from the left-hand side in towards Meite, headed away by Kieran Brown. He featured 9 times this season, Swift, but he's a key member of Veljko Paunovic's squad. The other end, Cardiff breaking forward. Murphy feeds Kiefer Moore. Oh, he's going to have a shot more. Oh, he's drilled it low into. It was almost a pass back to Smithy. Should have done a lot better, really, the big striker. Probably should have returned it to Murphy, who made a good run after playing the pass. Maybe he got caught in 2 minds. His shot ended up being almost a pass back to Raphael in goal. The first real moment we've seen from Cardiff in this second half going forward. And that's to act as a rewarding sign as well to Reading. They can't go too gun-ho, even though they desperately do need the victory. Pushkas back towards Laurent, who lifts the ball over the top. It's a good pass as well to release Ajaria down the left-hand side. He's up against Sang on the byline, looking to take on the Cardiff wing-back. He'll tee up Richards, who stands the ball up towards the far post. Meite attacking it and catches his man. It's a really good, brave piece of defending by Kieran Brown to clear the ball away. He took a whack for his troubles. Gives us an opportunity, though, to look back at the chance at the other end. Murphy carried the ball well, fed it into Moore. It looked like the pass was on to give it back to Josh Murphy, but he went for the shot Moore, and it wasn't to his usual high standards, it has to be said. Kiefer Moore, who, like Lucas João, has been amongst the goals this season, 16 in the championship for him. As the Reading change is made, John Swift is on and Andy Rinham-Hotter has been replaced. A good shift, Rinham-Hotter, but I imagine Swift might add a bit more creativity in the centre of the park alongside Josh Laurent. Sent on by Alex Smithies, the Cardiff goalkeeper. Flicked on by first Moore, then Murphy, and the ball will drop Josh Murphy's way, and he's fed it through to Harry Wilson. Chance for Harry Wilson, who lifts it over Raphael, and it's cleared off the line by Iadom. And for all Reading's playing this second half, it is Cardiff that have come the closest to breaking the deadlock. Murphy to Wilson, over Raphael, and Iadom clears off the line. There is a yellow card. Meite's been fouled as they look to break forward. Brown goes into the book. But it was a brilliant Cardiff City attack. Murphy having a real influence since coming on, the substitute. Fed it through to Wilson, who lifted it with the outside of his left boot over the advancing Raphael. The keeper came out quickly and probably forced Harry Wilson's decision there. So credit to him. But it was tantalisingly rolling towards the corner of the net, but Iadom got back. Good work from the fullback to hook it clear. It was probably as close as we come in the game to the deadlock being broken. And it might just add a spring to the Cardiff step as ball played forward towards Kiefer Moore. It will be brought back for a free kick. Swift upended Curtis Nelson. Still Reading 0, Cardiff 0. Reading doing all the probing, it would seem, but they've just had a couple of warning signs at the other end. First of all, Kiefer Moore dragging a shot straight down the throat of Raphael, but more importantly than that, from a Cardiff point of view, they probably came as close as anyone to breaking the deadlock in this game with their last chance. Josh Murphy on as a substitute has been influential since coming on. Lovely way to ball through to Harry Wilson. Wilson lifted it with the outside of his left foot over the advancing goalkeeper Raphael, and it looked destined to find the bottom corner, but getting back on the line, Andy Iadom was able to hook the ball clear. John Swift's on for Reading. He's replaced Andy Rinham-Hotter on his return from injury, but it remains 0-0. Yeah, that was as close as we've come to a goal then, that Harry Wilson effort for Cardiff. Will we get close to that? Will we get a goal from either team? in the time that remains. Reading 72% possession in the second half, but they've only mustered the same shots on target as Cardiff, 2 apiece. As we approach the final 10 minutes now, it's still goalless between these two sides. Draw from a Cardiff point of view, they're not going for the playoffs anymore. Mick McCarthy's admitted they will be out of the running. They'd still mathematically be able to get in there, but that would end if Barnsley and Bournemouth were to win their games in hand tomorrow, as Mate has again tried to break forward there. And Kieran Brown have had a good battle in this second half. A little unfortunate, there was a tangle of legs as they got to the ball, and Brown went down and the free kick was given, but had it not been, Mate would have been breaking into the penalty area down that right hand side. As we're going to see a second Cardiff change now, and the man who's just had the best chance of the match, Harry Wilson, is going to be replaced, and Sheyi Ojo is going to come on. Like for like replacement, and winger for another. Ojo on loan from Liverpool. Regular feature this season, the former England under-21 international. Are we going to get a winning goal in this game though? Still Reading 0, Cardiff 0. Ajaria has it for Reading, goes back to his goalkeeper Raphael, who's closed down by the substitute Ojo. It's a poor ball out to the right hand side from Raphael, and goes straight out play for a throw-in to Cardiff. They've certainly offered a lot more over these last 5 or 10 minutes or so. They were on the back foot for the majority of the second half before that, but there's a bit more of a goal-scoring threat. The substitutions coming on have helped that. Reading just getting a little bit twitchy at the back as well. Holmes struggling to clear his line. He will get a throw-in though, cannoning the ball off the legs of Kiefer Moore. Plus stoppage time remaining. Andy Yadom standing over this throw-in for Reading. In too much of a hurry to get on with proceedings, considering his side are in need of this victory. Eventually gets it down the line towards Mate, who flicks it on. Elise as well, nice touch into Swift. Richards plays it down the channel. This one for Ajaria to chase. It's a good searching ball. Ajaria up against Sang. Step one way, then the other, cuts in on his right foot. Lovely skills from Ajaria into the penalty area, but then it's rather skewed attempted cross, and Sang is able to clear. Again, he did the hard work really brilliantly, Ajaria, to get into the box and get away from the defenders, but then just like that composure at the crucial moment. Lawrence will now bring it forward for Reading. He looks to clip it over the top. Mate's made the dart in field. Mate, can he get under control? He bustles into the goalkeeper, Smithies. He's fouled Smithies. The ball was there to be played. It's a coming together more than anything. The referee's coming across to check everyone's okay. Yeah, there's no ill feeling from the Cardiff players, which is good to see. Perry and G's down there. And G, Mate and Smithies all going in together, really. Ball over the top from Laurent, bouncing into the area. Couldn't get a shot away on the volley, or he tried to head it actually. Mate didn't make the contact and then lunged for the bouncing ball. And, could have caught Smithies a really painful one, because it was a high boot, but thankfully he didn't. And good to see all the players are back on their feet. Velko Paunovic plotting another change for Reading. Sam Bollock's on the bench, an attacking option. Sonny Aluko as well. The two obvious names that you would think that he may be considering. Games against Luton, Swansea, Norwich and Huddersfield to come in their final 4 matches. Not easy. No games are in the Championship, of course. Reading look to bustle forward. Elise down the left-hand channel to Ajaria. Can he conjure up some magic? He pulls it back to the edge with Laurent. Now Swift keeps it moving out to the right-hand side. Yadom, almost a right winger now, clips the ball into the box, headed clear by Flint. Swift fighting to retain possession, battling from Rawls, but Reading come away with it. And Laurent, that's a lovely ball in behind to Yadom, who pulls it back towards Puskás. Well read for Curtis Nelson to intercept. He's had a really good game, Nelson, actually, at the back defensively. Nelson, Kieran Brown, and Andy Yadom have been really strong. And it's an opportunity now for the strike towards goal from the edge of the area. Shea Ojo actually breaking at the other end for Cardiff. He's had the shot, it's been saved. And the referee, I think a referee is pointing to the spot now. And Cardiff have a penalty. They broke up the other end. Shea Ojo driving forward. The substitute has a shot. Breaks out, saved by Raphael. And the follow-up there, Kiefer Moore, Omar Richards going for it. And it's a wild swing really from Richards. He catches Kiefer Moore. And it's a penalty. John Brooks has pointed to the spot. Ojo shot, saved by Raphael, as I say. And then Richards fouls Kiefer Moore. And we have a penalty now with less than 5 minutes remaining that could be a hammer blow to Reading's playoff hopes in the Championship this season. Kiefer Moore, the man who was fouled, will step up and take it. Up against Raphael, who's made some decent saves in this match, it has to be said. A notable one from Harry Wilson in the first half. Moore against Raphael, right-footed, and he drives it high into the roof of the net. Raphael guesses the wrong way, and Cardiff are in front at the Medeski. Late drama is Reading 0, Cardiff 1. A hammer blow for Reading's playoff hopes. Kiefer Moore has put Cardiff in front from the penalty spot. His 17th Championship goal of the season. He was the man fouled in the box as well after Shea Ojo effort from the edge of the area was saved by Raphael. It broke to Moore, who got to the ball ahead of Omar Richards. Richards, with a wild swing, brought him down. Not much contact, but enough for the referee to point to the spot, and Moore dusted himself down to do the rest. It's Reading 0, Cardiff 1. And for all Reading's pushing at the end of this during this second half, it is Cardiff City who are in front, and they're coming forward again. Murphy into the penalty area, dancing feet. Gets the cross into the box. It's deflected behind off Holmes for a corner. Inspired substitutions as well, you have to say, from Mick McCarthy. Murphy and Ojo both having big influences. Murphy's been brilliant since coming on, and Ojo a big role in the goal. And that keeps it Reading 0, Cardiff 1. Corner will be swung in from Tom Sang on the left-hand side. Cardiff's first corner of the second half, and Aidan Flint heads his effort just over the top of the crossbar. A chance there for Cardiff, and they'll sense they may be able to get some more chances on the counter-attack, because Reading are going to have to throw bodies forward in this late stage. Ball with John Swift in the middle of the park for Reading. Cross to Holmes. Swift once again on the halfway line, clips it out to the left-hand side. Richards, who'll be looking to make amends after giving away that penalty, pulls it back into the feet of Lauren. Now Swift clipping the ball over the top, looking for the runner Mate, who darted in from the right-hand side. It's comfortably claimed though by Alex Smithies, who was quickly distributing the ball out in the early part of this second half, but he's slowing things down now as Reading are preparing a triple change. One last throw of the dice, it would seem, from Veljko Paunovic. Have to wait until the ball next goes out of play as Smithies boots the ball forward. Long kick there, it'll run all the way through actually to Raphael, his opposite number. He quickly bowls the ball out to Holmes. Out to the right-hand side it goes. Yadom falls backwards to Holmes once again. Cardiff, who've defended so resiliently, particularly in this second half, to keep Reading at bay. I suppose the argument would be, have Reading done enough? As clip ball over the top from Holmes, looking for Yadom, who'd continued his run forward, and that'll run harmlessly out of play for a goal kick. We're into the final minute of the 90. We'll get plenty of stoppage time. Richards is going to be one of the first players replaced. Aluko is on for him. That's the experienced creative player, Sonny Aluko. Promotion from the Championship in the past. Sam Baldock is also going to come on. Another forward option. Yadom's gone off for him, so the two fullbacks have been replaced. And Elise is going off also. And third and final change, and it's going to be number 34, Dejan Tetek, the Serbian, who's come on for Elise. Just 18 years of age. We're into stoppage time. As I say, the Zhao injury we had at the start of this second half means we might get a decent amount of stoppages, and indeed it will be 5 minutes. Flipped forward by on the right hand side there by Tom Holmes, but it's cleared away comfortably by Cardiff, only at the expense of a throw-in though. Aluko will take it quickly, back to Ajaria. Ajaria now will lift the ball into the box. It's all or nothing time really for Reading. Again, Cardiff stands strong. It's Kieran Brown who clears. Sang helps it further forward, up towards Moore, who's going to have a big job of holding the ball up, you would assess. Ojo, down the line from Sang. It's a good ball as well to find Kiefer Moore. He looks early, he's not going for the corner. He looks to get the ball into the box, and it was aimed towards Murphy. Important interception from Holmes, who actually almost turned it past Raphael and into the back of his own net. But the goalkeeper was able to get down and make the save. Ball back with John Swift in the middle of the park. Switches it across to Aluko. Aluko looking to take on his man Sang. Sang holds him up well. Aluko pulls it back towards Ajaria. Infield it goes. First touch for Tetek, who keeps it moving out to the right-hand side. Crossing position now. The ball in from Baldock. Blocked though by Josh Murphy, and it goes out to play for a throw-in. We've had 90 seconds of the 5 minutes of stoppages. Baldock, he's winding up a long throw, or a longish throw. He does get it into the area. It's good actually. Pushkas trying to hold it up, trying to turn in the box. He's held up by a wall of orange players. It'll come to Swift, who lifts it back into the area. Headed clear by Nelson. Ajaria will pick up the pieces for Reading. Keeps it moving down the left with Sonny Aluko. Back to Ajaria, who clips a right-footed ball. Dangerous looking ball into the box, but it'll run through to Alex Smithies once again. And Cardiff are edging ever closer to the 3 points in this game. Reading 0, Cardiff 1 in the other championship match. Deep into stoppage time, Blackburn still lead Derby by 2-1 at Ewood Park. That's going to really put the Rams in the relegation mire. Smithy sends the ball long for Reading. Sorry, for Cardiff. Up into Reading territory. Picked up though by Josh Laurent, who works the ball to Swift. Now Holmes gives it back to John Swift. They need to get the ball forward quickly, Reading. They're working their way forward at the moment. Tetek back to Lauren, who's dropped in at centre-back, I think, since the changes have been made. Launched forward by Moore. Pushkas gets his head to it. Can't find a teammate in blue and white. Not initially anyway. It breaks back to Liam Moore. Now Aluko. Pass down the line, blocked by Sang. Comes to Swift, who gives it back to Sonny Aluko. Aluko down the left-hand side. Cross deep towards the far post. Challenging his Holmes, who looks like he's gone up as an auxiliary striker. Doesn't break his way. Might come to Pushkas. Now Swift. Lovely feet from John Swift. Can he get a shot away? Oh, it's brilliant. Heroic defending from Curtis Nelson. Throwing himself to get the block in. Countless blocks that he and his fellow defenders have put in for Cardiff this evening. It comes to Aluko on the left-hand side. Cross deep towards the far post. Baldock challenges, but he's beaten to it by Josh Murphy. It'll go out for a throw-in to Reading over on the right-hand side. Holmes desperate to get on with proceedings. Centre-back takes it down the line to Baldock, who turns Unji, gets across into the box. Aluko! It's into the back of the net! It's Yaku Mete actually who's got his head to the ball, and it's 1-1. Late drama. Mete's header. Brilliant cross from Baldock, and Reading are back on level terms. Deep into stoppage time, and Reading have drawn level at the Medeski. It's Reading 1, Cardiff 1. Yaku Mete bulleting home a header after a lovely cross from the byline by substitute Sam Baldock. They're pushing for the equaliser, Reading. It's a point, potentially, if it finishes this way, that might just keep their playoff hopes alive. It's Reading 1 and Cardiff 1. Yeah, brilliant header from Mete. And it does keep Reading alive in this game. Keeps them alive in the playoff push. They might still be able to push for a winning goal, you know, though. They're still flooding forward. It's Josh Laurent carrying the ball upfield. Looks to release Aluko down the left-hand side. Good challenge from Sangu. Lets everyone know he got the ball. Referee agrees. It will just be a throw-in. Paunovic himself is acting as ball boy now. Just urging everyone forward. They can't go... Well, they probably can go too gun-ho. But a point is still better than none for Reading as they push. Swift fighting for the ball. Volts wins it back. Clears down the line. We've had over the 5 minutes allocated for stoppages. We will get a bit more added on because of the goal. As Ojo, has he won a free kick there or Swift? I don't think he has. I think the final whistle's gone instead, and it is. It's a share of the spoils. Veljko Paunovic is furious. He has remembered to bump fists there with Mick McCarthy. A really hard-fought point for Cardiff. They'll feel they should have had all three after Kiefer Moore's late penalty put them in front. But Yaku Meite's stop-his-time header drew Reading level. In truth, it's probably the least Reading deserved from the game. It keeps them just about in the playoff hunt. But with Bournemouth and Barnsley to play tomorrow, there could be a huge 7-point gap between the Royals and the
They have got a game in hand. Londoners finding a result on home soil is something they've struggled to do over the course of the season. They've won just one of their last 6 at home across all competitions. Well, they do welcome back Jordan Pickford tonight. He's between the sticks as one of 3 changes Midfielder Alan is also back after a spell on the sidelines, while Alex Iwobi comes in to replace Seamus Coleman. There's still no Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Tottenham make two changes after their defeat to Manchester United last weekend. Toby Alderweireld is recalled, as is Moussa Sissoko, with Giovanni Lo Celso and Lucas Moura missing out. Time is running out in the race to secure a European berth this season. But Everton and Tottenham are both firmly still in the race. Tonight's clash at Goodison Park, which is just about to get underway, could have a big saying on whether either of these sides can come up with the goods in the final weeks of the 2020-21 campaign. We are up and running with Spurs taking kick-off and launching the ball forwards. It's already into touch, so that gives me a chance to take you through the lineups. The home side, Everton, have made three changes after they were held to a goalless draw by Brighton last time out. They have key figures back in the lineup. Jordan Pickford returns in goal after a spell out with an abdominal injury. Alan is also back in midfield as well. The other player into the lineup is Iwobi, who replaces Coleman. So it's an 11. Everton are Pickford, Holgate, Keane, Godfrey and Dean. Alan and Davis, James, Sigurdsson and Iwobi. Richarlison leads the line tonight, with Dominic Calvert-Lewin still unavailable. Early free kick here for Tottenham. I'll take you through their lineup quickly before Heung-min Son will take it. They make two changes after losing to Manchester United. In come Alderweireld and Sissoko. They are Lloris in goal. A back three of Dyer, Alderweireld and Rodon. Wing-backs of Aurier and Reguilon. It's Ndombele, Højbjerg and Sissoko as a midfield trio. Son and Kane up at the top. Well, it is going to be Son, the South Korean, to take this free kick. In fact, no, he rather leaves it for his teammate Reguilon, and that's overhit. Will go behind for a goal kick. Really poorly executed there by the Spaniard, who's had a good season with Tottenham. Not doing himself any favours there with that delivery. Possibly his first touch of the ball, actually, as he tried to tee up one of his teammates. Everton have been a little bit loose with possession now as they tried to play it from the back, and they've conceded a throw-in on the left-hand side midway through their own half. It'll be taken by the man who swung in that free kick a moment ago, Reguilon. Son fails to control, and Everton will look to play their way out once again. They open it up towards the left-hand side with Holgate coming forwards. Everton again having to play with a makeshift back line tonight, not for the first time this season. Looks as though Ben Godfrey has been deployed at right back. Holgate and Keane, the two central defenders, with Dean, the left back. Jordan Pickford back in the side today has just launched one downfield, and that's gone into touch. Known, of course, for his distribution, but not fantastic that time around. Both sides have been a bit guilty of being a little bit sloppy early on here. The ball will flick off the outstretched leg of Sigurdsson and into touch for a throw-in. And the captain's armband tonight, the Icelander. As the table stands, Everton are just one spot below Tottenham. Toffees sit in 8th with Tottenham in 7th. There's only a point between them, and Everton have got a game in hand on Spurs, so if they can avoid defeat tonight, then it puts them in a good position to try and finish ahead of Tottenham come the end of the season. Of course, if they can get a win tonight, even better. They'll leapfrog Spurs and then still have that game in hand. They did get a victory at Tottenham earlier in the season, in fact right at the start of the season, when they claimed a 1-0 triumph and had a fantastic beginning to 2020-21. Lots of thoughts that Everton were going to be a really difficult side to beat this campaign under Ancelotti. Here they are on the attack, and James on the edge of the box tries to feed in Sigurdsson. It was through the legs of Ndombele, but intercepted eventually by Spurs. Alan then battles for it, but Sissoko will claim it. And Rodon tries to flick it forward, but there to meet it is Godfrey. Out to Iwobi, the former Arsenal man, loses out, and it will come forwards with Kane. Tries to drive infield and felt he was fouled there, but the referee disagrees and did look a little bit soft. So here come Everton. Richarlison was almost anonymous when Everton were held to that goalless draw by Brighton last time out, and then a long-range shot from Sigurdsson is over the bar. Incidentally, tonight's referee is Michael Oliver. He was happy for that move to continue when Kane appealed for the free kick. It was extremely ambitious, the effort from Sigurdsson. He was on the left point of the box and trying to bend it in the far corner against his former employers. But no success, got under the ball and ballooned it high over the crossbar. He's got 6 goals this season, Sigurdsson, 4 of those coming in the Premier League. Managed to find the back of the net on 8 occasions in the league during his time with Tottenham. Departed them with 13 goals in 83 games across all competitions. Eventually found that he no longer had a place in the squad when Christian Eriksen arrived at the club and showed the type of consistency that Spurs were looking for. Kane trying to work one into the box now, is repelled by Everton though, and then a foul committed by Ndombele. Davis left down on the floor and Everton will have a free kick. 5.5 minutes played on official off-tube studio commentary. Everton 0, Tottenham 0. Everton did get the better of Spurs the last time they met. They've beaten them twice this season. That win right at the start of the campaign at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but they beat them at Goodison Park in the FA Cup as well. Really exciting night that was. If we get anything close to it, it'd be another fantastic game. It finished 4-4 in regulation time. They went on to win the match in extra time, 5-4. Since dropped out of the FA Cup though, the Toffees. They just have Premier League games left on their plate. Spurs, of course, have the Carabao Cup final to come in a couple of weeks. No longer in the Europa League, so they can put a lot of focus as well on their Premier League exploits as they look to keep themselves up in that conversation for the top 4. A loss tonight, you would say, for both sides would be really harmful to any kind of ambition they've got for a top 4 spot. It certainly wouldn't rule them out, but we've got an early yellow card here. Michael Oliver has decided to go into his pocket as Sigurdsson was trying to break, and he's just been dragged back there, ran the hit by Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. It's a very cynical foul from the Dane. One of those where there is really no excusing. The arms were wrapped around the waist. Sigurdsson had dropped the shoulder and had the beating of him. It's only on the halfway line. There was no immediate danger, but Højbjerg clearly felt he had to do something to prevent Everton maybe starting to build an attack. They haven't done anything from the subsequent free kick, but Højbjerg now walking that tightrope for what is going to be 83 minutes of this game. Be shocked if he sees the full-time whistle, in all truth, to be walking that fine line for so long in his position when he's likely to be getting stuck in on a few more occasions. Here's Iwobi for Everton now. Steals the ball off the toes of Reguilon. Goes back into Holgate. He's afforded space to come over the halfway line and turns really nicely away from Højbjerg. Fires the ball out left, but it's too pacey and will go beyond both Sigurdsson and Dean and out for a goal kick. It's a great bit of play initially from the centre-back. Actually played in midfield for Everton in that draw with Brighton last time out. Injuries have been a big issue for Everton over the course of the season, right now especially. Good news is that Allan and Pickford are back in the side today, but it's really been a case of trying to just manage the situation as best as possible for Carlo Ancelotti. He's still without Bernard, Calvert-Lewin, Delph, Decore, Gabamin, who we've heard now is out for the rest of the season, and Mina as well. Tottenham on the edge of their own box. Certainly no special case, by the way, the fact that Everton have got so many injuries. Look up and down the Premier League over the course of the season, and it's been one of those years, understandably, with all the games rammed in and action-packed, that Clubs have been really trying to manage players as best as possible. The team over the other side of Merseyside will attest to that. Liverpool with their problems that have been ongoing at the back all term. Sissoko in midfield now for Tottenham, lashes the ball forward, but Dean is able to claim that one unchallenged. Then Pickford is poor with his pass out, goes straight into the feet of Aurier, back to Sissoko, and now Ndombele on the right hand side. Tries a trick to get away from Sigurdsson, but the ball's going to go out into touch. I think Ndombele felt that he got an arm in the throat there from the Everton man. He's not made too much of it, in fairness, although he's walked back onto the pitch with the ball in his hand and is trying to engage in a discussion with Michael Oliver, who's just told him to give the ball to Dean and let Everton get on with this throw-in. Frenchman's not in any hurry to get play restarted, by the way. He has now just looped it down the line, but took a good 10 seconds or so to dust the ball down and assess his options before just hopefully looping it down the line, and it's gone back into Tottenham possession. Lloris will clear left-footed up to the halfway line. Battle ensues for possession and Everton come out on top. Davis lofts the ball out to the right-hand side for Iwobi. Nicely controlled by the Nigeria international. Foot in, though, from Reguilon. Everton have the throw. Taken quickly to Hammers. He's robbed of the ball. And out come Tottenham. Approaching the halfway line with Højbjerg. They back off to Sissoko. Then Ndombele, the former Lyon man. And he gets the ball back off Joe Rodon. Ndombele takes a gamble as he toys with Richarlison, but it's a gamble that pays off as he works it into defence with Rodon. Then Alderweireld comes on forward. Everton get a foot in and force Tottenham back into their own half, and Dean forces the throw in from Rodon. The former Barcelona man will take into Richarlison. Nice little 1-2 between the pair. Sigurdsson comes to help out, and then Richarlison shows some good footwork to get away from a couple. Swings the ball in, but there's no one there to attack it. That's going to go straight behind for the goal kick. Reguilon getting the shout from his goalkeeper Lloris to leave it. It's really surprising that Everton are still very much in contention for European football when you take into consideration how poorly they've performed on home soil. Just one win in their last 6 at Goodison Park across all competitions. They've not actually won in 5 games across all competitions, home or away, losing 3, but they have drawn the last 2 to maybe signal that there is a sign of improvement. They're currently working it around on the edge of their own box. Worked in towards Hammers. Again, he's unable to bring it down, and he's not had the best start to this match, the Colombian. He's not quite hit his highs over the last couple of weeks since returning from injury. He did score on the game that he returned in against Crystal Palace, but aside from that, he's not really been able to have the kind of impact that we saw from him when he first joined the club and before he had his injury issues. Just wonder if he's going to be able to get fully up to speed again before the end of the season, because Everton know just how crucial he can be to their hopes of enjoying a successful end to the term. 13.5 minutes gone. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Everton 0, Tottenham 0. Rodon out to the left-hand side. Forwards and now asking Ndombele to chase, but Everton will get a body across and send it back to their goalkeeper Pickford. We've scarcely mentioned Harry Kane or Heung-min Son in this match so far. It's all been played out through midfield. Tottenham haven't been able to get it forwards to their exciting attacking duo, although, so look at the formation out there on the pitch. Kane is playing very deep tonight. It's almost as if Son is the central striker. As I speak, Kane has just now stepped in front of Son and is the most advanced player, but several occasions over the last few minutes, Kane has been dropping deep into midfield. That's something that they have been working on over the season. Kane coming to pick up possession and Son making breaks in behind the defence. They've got a fantastic relationship, but so far tonight we've not really seen them in action. I'm sure that will change at some point. Pickford has it here at his feet inside his 6-yard box, lofted out towards Iwobi. Looks as though Tottenham will win a free kick here as Eric Dyer ends up on the deck. Iwobi just sort of leant into Dyer as the Spurs man jumped up in the air to win a header. Iwobi was not interested whatsoever in leaving the ground and just sort of shaped himself to nudge Dyer off his flight path. And here is Dyer in open play to Son. First time ball down the line, asking a lot there of Reguilon. Godfrey has backed himself to usher this one out and does really well. Intelligent play from the Everton defender. It was a good 7 or 8 yards for that ball to roll once he'd decided to put the brakes on and just prevent Reguilon from getting around him to the ball. Had to show strength and awareness and enough pace on that ball to see it behind. He's had a fine season for the Toffees, Godfrey. Has to go down as one of Everton's standout players after making that move from Norwich over the summer. He's been really versatile, extremely willing to just play in any position that is available for him to slot into across that back line. He has played in all positions, wing back, both full back roles and central defence. And has shown an aptitude to get forwards when playing at full back. Something that I think many were probably a little bit surprised to see in truth, but he's more than capable of carrying the ball and has got an injection of pace when required. Here's a man who also does. Heung-min Son carrying the ball forwards for Tottenham. Looks to switch the play, but there's too many blue-shirted Everton players in between, and they managed to win possession. Godfrey has then just stolen it off a Tottenham man who's gone down clutching his throat there. It's Ndombele who's stayed on the floor. Either grabbing his throat, or yeah, it is his throat. He's just rolled over, and Michael Oliver is now calling Ben Godfrey over, and he's sort of flirting with going towards his pocket here. Let's have a look at the replay. I mean, there's nothing in it. Godfrey puts the arm out there to protect himself against Ndombele. The arm goes across the chest of Ndombele. There's no clear sign of a contact with the throat, although Ndombele is going all out here in terms of asking for treatment. The medical staff are on the pitch. He's taking on some H2O and making full use of the chance to have a bit of a breather. Of course, went down on the other side of the field a few minutes ago with a similar complaint. Remember, there was a bit of controversy over an incident similar but not quite the same when Manchester United and Tottenham met last weekend. United thought they'd open the scoring at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Edinson Cavani slotting home, but play was pulled back after Scott McTominay was seen to have thrown an arm out and caught Heung-min Son in the face. That led to a huge blowout between Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at full time. Some verbals exchanged, and Mourinho once again referring to the old line that he likes to of how many trophies he's won, and he was very happy to compare that to the lack of silverware that has been delivered by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Can't quite fall into that theme with Carlo Ancelotti, who's a well-decorated manager himself. It's the 9th meeting actually between Mourinho and Ancelotti. They have won 4 apiece in previous meetings. Throw in for Everton, deep inside Tottenham territory, finding Richarlison. He plays it off Aurier and will win another throw in right by the corner flag. Dean is forwards to take it. Sigurdsson makes the move and holds off Aurier. Rolls it back to Allan, who Everton will be delighted to have back in midfield today. He certainly gives them a little bit more stability and protection to the back line. Works really well with fellow summer arrival Decore, but he's still unavailable. Ndombele plays it down the line. Looks as though he was fouled there, but Michael Oliver allows Tottenham to get on with it. Wasn't a great deal of advantage to come, but that was just due to a poor decision made by Harry Kane. He had ample options on ahead of him, but picked the wrong one, and Everton intercept. Dean goes back to Holgate and rolled further deep to Michael Keane. Now Godfrey thinks about going forward, but he's got Son hot on his heels. Davis, first time ball laid off to Holgate. And now James, space down the left-hand side to run into. Højbjerg is coming across, so it's rolled into the Frenchman Dean. Fires it into the box, it's ahead of Sigurdsson. Tottenham will look to come out. Reguilon plays it down the line for Kane, and Ndombele then miscontrols with his first touch. And Everton can come again. Iwobi now attacking down the right, but Dyer makes the good challenge. Prevents the ball from going into touch, and into midfield it goes with Højbjerg. Again, Everton managed to get a foot in. Now they're building out on the right-hand side, and that one has gone into touch off Rodon, and Everton will have themselves a throw-in. Michael Oliver is going to go into his pocket here, and I think that was for the foul that he allowed to go when he was playing the advantage. It was Davis who came sliding in to wipe out Ndombele. Davis putting one finger up to the referee here to suggest that's his first misdemeanor in this match, but it was a challenge that seemingly prevented a counter-attack from building, so understandable that Michael Oliver, who's shown a yellow card early on in this match to Højbjerg, now dips into his pocket once again. We could be set for a game here with plenty of cards, with these first two bookings coming out already. We're only 21.5 minutes in. Unofficial commentary. Everton 0, Tottenham 0. The ball forwards towards Richarlison, but he won't get there for that. And out comes Aurier. Infield to Son, but he's crowded out by a combination of Holgate and Davis. And into the box Everton go now. Richarlison will pull the trigger, and Lloris parries out down to his left-hand side. Tottenham will clear their lines. That goes down as the first real chance of the match. Richarlison, I think you'd have to suggest, probably should be doing better there once he breaks into the box. He's got time to open up his body. He just doesn't find a way to beat Lloris. It was telegraphed really down to the goalkeeper's left, comfortably parried away. And Richarlison with a golden chance to break the deadlock at Goodison Park. Here are Tottenham now on the halfway line. We're yet to see a replay of that effort as to whether Richarlison maybe could have taken it on even further, but I'm sure we'll get the chance to assess that soon. Unofficial commentary. Everton 0, Tottenham 0. There's a foul here on Reguilon, but we'll get on with it quickly. Michael Oliver is actually happy for Tottenham just to keep the ball moving as they remain in possession, just 5 yards deeper from where the foul was committed. Now Holgate steps in to dispossess Ndombele, and his long ball forward will go all the way through to Lloris. Reguilon forward down the left. He's being held up by Godfrey, who gets enough of a foot in to see it out into touch. That should grant us the opportunity to look at Richarlison's effort. No, in fact, they've taken the throw in too quickly, Tottenham, for us to be allowed a replay. So the wait goes on, and it's Alderweireld. Almost turned into trouble there on the halfway line, but just manages to squeeze the ball away to Aurier. But then dispossessed was Sissoko, and Ndombele has stayed down. In fact, rather, sorry, it's Aurier who's gone down, and he's staying down. And Everton have sportingly put this into touch. They didn't have to do that. They were in a good area of the field, but they've decided to do the sporting thing. It was just two players stretching for the ball, Aurier and Dean. Aurier tried to flick the ball infield, and Dean got his foot to it to divert it into a forward direction for the Toffees. Aurier looks as though he'll be all right. We're looking back at the replay now of that Richarlison chance, and it's just lost completely by Alderweireld. Controls it on the inside of his right boot. The outside of his right boot. And he's into the box. He maybe could have stepped forward a couple more yards. He was right on the edge of the area, inside the D. And he just didn't quite manage to disguise the shot enough to catch goalkeeper Lloris by surprise. So the game goes on with the deadlock yet to be broken. But Everton trying to change that. Iwobi now, just over the midway point of this first half. Pass back to James is misplaced. James tries to win it back, but in the process has only laid it into Sissoko. Can now go down the line to Aurier, moving freely, but coming together with Dean, who will dispossess him and find touch. He appeals to the official on the touchline that there was an arm around his neck. There's going to be no favours done to the Frenchman. There was definitely a pullback there from Aurier, but I don't think it impacted Dean too much. He'd already made the decision that he was going to put it into touch and was in the process of doing that. Kane will head forwards now to Ndombele, edge of the box. Ndombele gets it back from Son, unleashes a shot that's deflected away. Ndombele retrieves the ball and finds Højbjerg. What sort of character have Everton got now to fight their way back into this game? They have a torrid record on home soil this season. In fact, the 14th worst record of sides when you assess their form just at home. They've only won 5 times, they've lost 7. This doesn't look too good for them. Trailing, with Tottenham only really having one chance in this match, but it fell to the player you really wouldn't want it to, Harry Kane. Just looking back at the replay now, and I wonder if Michael Keane doesn't get his head to that, whether it's going to fall to Harry Kane, but it's all if, buts and maybes, and in that sort of situation, Michael Keane can't really afford to take a gamble. Ball is coming into his box with interest, and he's got to do all he can to try and get something on it. But his glancing header actually diverts it into the path of Kane and allows his international teammate to apply the finishing touch. Here come Everton, breaking down the left now with Sigurdsson. He's got Dean in support, but Sigurdsson will whip it in low into the box, and there's a shout for a penalty, and it's given. Everton are going to have the chance to get back on level terms just moments after they fell behind. It's Sergio Reguilon who's caught the leg of James Rodriguez. The Colombian was set to arrive onto Sigurdsson's low ball. He pulled his left leg back and was about to strike first time. Reguilon comes in behind, gets too close for comfort. He makes contact with James and sends the playmaker tumbling down to the floor. It's only just inside the box, but it is clearly in the area. And Everton could find themselves back on level terms in just a moment. It's clumsy play from Reguilon. Yet to see who's going to take this penalty for Everton. It is in fact going to be Gylfi Sigurdsson. The skipper has placed the ball down, up he strides, and he sends Lloris the wrong way. He strokes it home into the bottom right corner, and Sigurdsson has his 5th goal in the Premier League this season. It's Everton 1, Tottenham 1, half an hour played, and Gylfi Sigurdsson with his 5th goal in the Premier League this season, and really coolly finished as well from 12 yards out. A penalty spot kick for the man wearing the captain's armband tonight. The decision was given after Sigurdsson broke down the left. He delivered a low ball into the area. Arriving onto it was James Rodriguez. He pulled his left leg back to strike it first time. Sergio Reguilon got too close to him, made contact, sent the Colombian down to the floor. Michael Oliver immediately blowing his whistle, and Sigurdsson does the rest. It is Everton 1, Tottenham 1. We mentioned before that these two sides played out a dramatic 4-4 draw when they met in the FA Cup at Goodison Park earlier in the season. I said if we get anything close to that, it'll be another fantastic night of football. And here we are, 31 minutes in, and we have a goal apiece. Maybe, just maybe, we could be set for another high-scoring affair on Merseyside. Here come Everton once more with Richarlison. It's as you were then, level on the night. Two sides with eyes on the prize of European football. And desperate not to come away on the losing side tonight. A draw, I think you would suggest, is a better result for Everton due to the fact they have a game in hand on Spurs, but it isn't the worst result for either of these two sides, as Richarlison has now been fouled on the edge of the box. Alderweireld has brought him down. So Everton with a free kick in a really good spot. It's probably about 2 or 3 yards outside the area, or that's where it was initially given. Whether it's actually taken from the same spot, we'll see. Yeah, it does look to be about right. It's just left of the left-hand post as Everton look at it, so it would arguably suit the right foot of Sigurdsson more than the left of James. They're the two candidates currently stood over the top of it. James more than capable of whipping it up and over that wall left-footed and into the top left corner, or likewise pulling it across goal to Hugo Lloris's side with pace. Sigurdsson, who stood about half a yard over the top of it, he's actually just taken a few steps back. So now both are wide of the ball at different angles. Dina is even there potentially as a third option, but Sigurdsson is the man who steps up. He strikes it into the wall, and then it's cleared away by Sissoko, pumped over the halfway line. Pickford will come and retrieve it just outside his own box. Holgate lays it off to Pickford, who lashes through it left-footed. Richarlison felt that he was pushed away from the flight of the ball there, but Michael Oliver doesn't agree. So Everton will have to start again from back at their goalkeeper Pickford, who calmly plays it through into midfield with Alan. Sigurdsson lays off for Holgate. And now the switch of play to the right-hand side with Godfrey. Leaves it for James, the more creative influence in that midfield. Son chasing a ball that's been played back to Pickford and forces the England goalkeeper to get rid first time, and he puts too much on it all the way through to Lloris. Rodon hooks downfield from the edge of his own box, headed back from where it came by Holgate, sliced forward by Alderweireld. Davis rolls down the line, but there is Alderweireld, the Belgian, back in the side today to win it. Now Ndombele has been robbed of the ball, but unfairly, says Michael Oliver. Sigurdsson picking up possession unlawfully. Spurs have worked it quite nicely out to Reguilon, but across quickly is Godfrey. Sees the ball into touch and feels that he's played it off Reguilon, but the decision will go Spurs' way. Back it comes to Sissoko. Son, surrounded by 2 or 3, and he fails to get away from them. Now Godfrey, a chance to break down the right-hand side. Son is there, though, and the South Korean shows good strength, actually. Little nudge in the side of the defender, and Kane is going to have a pop here from inside his own half. It's gone well wide of the goal in the end, but he spotted Pickford off his line. He'll know him well from England camps, and sure is fully aware of the types of positions the goalkeeper likes to take up. It was overly ambitious from Kane, but certainly you feel he's more than capable of scoring from that kind of distance. Said before about the record that he has now managed to go on and secure tonight with that goal. Joining some very elite company. Alan Shearer actually managed to score 20 goals or more in 7 seasons in the Premier League. Sergio Aguero has done it in 6, and he won't be doing it this term. His last campaign for Manchester City, that's not to say his last campaign in the Premier League, and Thierry Henry managed to do it on 5 occasions. James Rodriguez is going to have a pop from range here, but there's not enough on that, and it's going to harmlessly go through to the goalkeeper, Lloris. Remarkable scoring stats that Harry Kane has now, though, for Tottenham. 218 goals in the Premier League in 330 appearances by the conclusion of tonight's game. Iwobi might have a chance to put Everton ahead here. He has a lash at goal. It was deflected into the path of Sigurdsson, but blocked away. They'll come again with Sigurdsson into the box now for James. He gets the shot away. Lloris with the save. And he's able to collect it the second time of asking. Parried down and falls on top of it. It was really neat play from Everton. Little flick off the heel from James to Sigurdsson, who rolled it back to the man who had won the penalty earlier. He didn't have much time to get his shot away, and Lloris falling down, he's able to get to it. Here comes Iwobi for Everton, who really seem to be buoyed now by that equalising goal. They've had 6 attempts in this game to the 4 of Tottenham, and here comes Dean down the left-hand side. 4 of those on target, by the way, for Everton. Just 1 on target so far for Spurs, and that, of course, was their goal. But the momentum has surely shifted. Kane plays one back into Alderweireld, and he sends it off to his goalkeeper. 70% possession for Everton as well over the last 5 minutes. James has it in midfield. Digne back to Holgate, and now Keane across to Godfrey, and they do look to be playing as a back 3, Everton. It wasn't entirely clear if that's the way they would be approaching things tonight, but it looks as though Dean and Iwobi are the wing backs, with that back 3 of Keane, Holgate and Godfrey. Davis comes across the width of the field from left to right. Now Richarlison tries to drop it off for James, but sells his teammate short. There's a footed from Højbjerg, but he can only promote it on forwards to Davis. So Everton back with the ball. Keane to Alan. The ex-Napoli man lays it off to Holgate. Reverses the ball back out to Sigurdsson. And Alan out on the left-hand side. Davis offers himself up. Alan once again. And Everton monopolising possession as we head over the 40-minute mark. 5 minutes of regulation time left, possibly a minute or two of additional to come on top of that. We'll find out shortly. Everton 1, Tottenham 1, unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Richarlison opens his body up for a shot. It's deflected behind. The Toffees will have a corner. Joe Rodon getting his body in the way. Richarlison nicely opening his body up and trying to bend that one to the target. Rodon was with him stride for stride. Sigurdsson appears to be going across to take this set piece. Has led the side rather nicely tonight, pulling the strings, scoring from the penalty spot. Godfrey, Keane and Richarlison are huddled together here on the edge of the penalty area. We're all waiting to part ways and go and make their runs into the box as the ball is now delivered towards the head of Richarlison, saved by Lloris. Failed to really generate power and it was sort of lofted straight down the middle of the goal. Very comfortable for Lloris either side, and maybe he has got a question to answer, but he'll take those all night. You'd probably have to say that Ancelotti will be the happier of the two managers. As we head towards the half-time break, his side have created the more chances. They've started to look really comfortable on the ball. They look like the home team, something that you would have struggled to say about them over the most part of this season on their own patch. Eric Dyer has it inside his own half, across to Rodon. The Wales international comes back out to Dyer, who did spend a bit of time at Everton on loan earlier in his career. During his time with Sporting Lisbon, he was loaned out to the Toffees for the opportunity to get a little bit of experience. Went on to represent the Toffees' under-18s on 10 occasions. Actually won the under-18 Premier League with the team in 2010-11. Went on to stay for a further year in their academy as well, but eventually decided that he wanted to go back to Sporting, where he really came through into first-team football, eventually going on to Tottenham. Tom Davis just holding up play here. He's clutching the back of his head and looks in a bit of discomfort. Mason Holgate's also gone down to the floor. So we are going to have a bit of time off the clock here. Yeah, it was as Davis jumped up there. I thought it was Son who actually is also holding the back of his head. But yeah, the three of them all seem to butt heads. Ball was coming down. Davis was backing up towards it as Son and Holgate were already tussling and preparing to do battle. So it just complicated matters really to Davis. And I think as he jumped backwards, he caught the underside of the chin of Holgate. Son just caught one on the back of the head. Davis and Son appear to be okay, apart from the fact that they're rubbing the back of their heads. I think it's just sore more than anything else. Jarring, but Holgate took the main brunt of the force there. And has received a little bit of treatment, so he's going to have to leave the field of play just for a moment. I'm not entirely sure how we're going to restart play here. Michael Oliver has picked the ball up, but which team is he going to drop it to? I think Everton are trying to suggest that they'll kick it back to goalkeeper Hugo Lloris. Holgate has stepped off the field and has got an ice pack on his forehead. So it wasn't quite the chin as I suggested, it was a little bit further up. Nonetheless, still a sore area to be picking up a knock. And we are back underway now, and the ball has been sent downfield to Lloris. Seen some shots of Jose Mourinho there for the first time. On the bench with his feet up and looking somewhat relaxed, although the look on his face looks a little bit aggravated. I think maybe slightly eager and anxious to get in at half-time and have a word with his players, hoping, I think, that a strong passage of play that we've seen from Everton over the last 10 minutes doesn't lead to a second goal and have Tottenham trailing at the break. Mourinho is sort of twiddling around his notebook, and I'm sure he's got plenty of suggestions on there, talking topics that he's going to be running through at the break. We are over the 45 minutes now, and it's going to be a 3-minute add-on. Everton have got a free kick, so forwards are Holgate, Keane and Godfrey. Hammers is over the top of it. It's wide on the left-hand side, a good 40 yards or so from goal. And he arcs this one into the box with interest. It's over the bar from Ben Godfrey, who had arrived beyond the far post. Well, it was allowed to bounce in the box. Looked as though it was a good ball coming in, but there was no one to attack it centrally of a Tottenham or Everton persuasion. As it bounced up beyond the far post, it just came up with too much pace for Godfrey. As he met it with his forehead, he couldn't get over the top of the ball and it balloons over the crossbar. But that is a wonderful ball by James Rodriguez, exactly in the area you would want it to be for someone to go and plant their head on it. Tottenham can count themselves lucky that they aren't trailing in this game. It's Everton 1, Tottenham 1. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary. 46.5 minutes played. Halfway through the 3 additional minutes we're set to have at the end of this first period. Forwards from Alderweireld. Headed away by Keane. So Davis had some hands on his back there, but Sigurdsson has come to meet the ball anyway. Now Richarlison, squared up by Rodon, trying to break into the box. He's gone down. He stayed down, but there will be no penalty for that. Might have been a coming together of legs, but I think both parties were as responsible as one another. Tried to step inside the challenge of Rodon. Alderweireld came across to help out. It might well have been Alderweireld who made the contact. Yeah, potentially a bit, but I think also Richarlison, as he planted his foot down, he seemed to plant it on the side of the foot, so he's rolled his ankle. He's not got down on the base of the boot, so I think it'll be an awkward one, a sore one that he'll just need to run off. He's limping away from the penalty area now as we have 30 seconds left of the 3 additional. Might well have a little bit more on top of that, but at least he'll get the half-time break to secure his recovery. Would be a blow if he didn't emerge for the second half. They have got a replacement attacker on the bench in the shape of Josh King. They have also got the youngster in the shape of Nathan Broadhead. He is a midfielder, but he scored 9 in 15 for the under-23s this season, so could potentially be an option. Anyway, we're over the 3 minutes of additional time, and Michael Oliver has seen enough. So Harry Kane's opening goal in the match was cancelled out just a few minutes later, courtesy of a penalty slotted home by Gylfi Sigurdsson. At half-time, it is Everton 1, Tottenham 1. It's all square at half-time. Everton 1, Tottenham 1. Spurs took the lead on 27 minutes, very much against the run of play with their first shot of the game. It was Harry Kane who fired home from close range after Michael Keane glanced on inside his own box. Kane volleying home from 6 yards out. The lead, though, lasted just 4 minutes. Everton awarded a penalty when James went down in the box. Sigurdsson stepped up and slotted home calmly. They've gone close with further chances. 45 minutes, something that hasn't been said about them often at home this season. They've gone close with further efforts through Richarlison and James, both well saved by Lloris. There was also a header from Godfrey at the far post that went over the bar. It's 1-1. At half-time, it's Everton 1, Tottenham 1. Spurs took the lead on 27 minutes. Harry Kane volleying home from close range, but that advantage lasted a mere 4 minutes. Sigurdsson slotting home from the penalty spot after James had been brought down in the area. Everton have very much been on top in the first 45 minutes, something that hasn't been said about them often at home this season. They've gone close with further efforts through Richarlison and James, both well saved by Lloris. There was also a header from Godfrey at the far post that went over the bar. It's 1-1. At half-time, it's Everton 1, Tottenham 1. Spurs took the lead on 27 minutes. Harry Kane volleying home from close range, but that advantage lasted a mere 4 minutes. Sigurdsson slotting home from the penalty spot after James had been brought down in the area. Everton have very much been on top in the first 45 minutes, something that hasn't been said about them often at home this season. Well, we're set to get underway for the second half, and here we go. Everton with the ball rolling. It is Everton 1, Tottenham 1. Harry Kane scoring the opener. A volley from close range. Gylfi Sigurdsson finding Everton's equaliser from the penalty spot after James Rodriguez had been brought down by Sergio Reguilon. Just 4 minutes after Spurs had taken the lead in the game. It was a first half that Everton appeared to be on top in, and I think Carlo Ancelotti would have been asking his side the question how they hadn't managed to take the lead at some point. They had the lion's share of possession. They had a majority of chances and some good chances in that as well. James and Richarlison both testing the goalkeeper. Godfrey also went close with a header beyond the far post, although a difficult chance to try and make the best of. A few bookings that came out in that first half as well, with Højbjerg and Davis both going into the referee's notebook. A minute into the second half, Everton working possession around inside their own half. Holgate under pressure from Kane, goes back to Pickford and Keane. Helped on forward to James, laid off first time for Godfrey. Now down the line for Iwobi, who struggles to get away from the attentions of Reguilon, but the ball bounces away to Richarlison. The Toffees can continue to build on forward. Richarlison has got a couple for company and has done really well to get that ball out towards James. Now they can open up the play, Everton, across the width of the field from right to left, with Dean, who tries to work a 1-2 with Sigurdsson. Aurier has put this behind for a corner under pressure. He was hoping to just usher that one away, but Dean had other ideas and forced the Ivory Coast international into putting it behind himself. So Everton can load the box up in their first real chance of this second half. James is the man to take it, an outswinger from the left-hand side. Michael Keane rises. He's beaten to it by Rodon, and Everton will have another corner. They've got some very good players in the air, Everton. Keane has been no stranger to finding the back of the net this term. James the man to deliver once again. Similar type of ball, and Richarlison heads over. Climbed well at the near post, but couldn't get over the top of it. It's coming away from goal, and it's just a lack of technique from the Brazilian. Might well have just glanced off Højbjerg's head just in front of him, and that potentially put the ex-Watford man off. Out of defence now come Tottenham. They switch the play to the left-hand side where Reguilon has got space. In goes the delivery. Alan will kick it up, but not away, and that bounces inside the box, and it's a very awkward situation. Eventually Everton clear through the boot of Godfrey. Aurier down the right-hand side. He's got Sigurdsson in front of him. Goes infield to Sissoko. Little back heel for his teammate Aurier, who swings the ball into the box. And again, Everton are there to repel it. Iwobi now. Under pressure, turns into the tackle of Højbjerg, and it's Kane. He can carry it into the box. Tries to create an angle for a shot. Instead rolls down the line for Dyer. Ball hung up to the far post, and it's headed over the bar by Luca Dean. Had to get to that one because he had a player arriving in behind. Intelligent play from Kane and a nice teasing ball from Dyer. Pickford was sprinting across his goal line, and it was Højbjerg who was arriving just behind Dean at the far post. Tottenham now have their first corner of the game. Son with the outswinger. Headed away by Everton. Brought back into the box by Ndombele. He's dispossessed. And Everton can clear their lines up to the halfway line. Reguilon. Kane. Højbjerg returns it back to Kane. Tries to play a 1-2 with Dyer, but that falls apart, and Iwobi just clips one forward. That'll give Richarlison something to chase. It's been worked back to Lloris. Richarlison's all on his own, so he's got no hope in winning possession. Tottenham simply played around him. And Dyer. Out towards Reguilon. Now Kane. Son. Kane is breaking into the box, so Son carries it. He beats his man. Now looking for the shot, and Pickford will save. Coming off his line, beyond his near post. Nice drop of the shoulder from Son to get himself into the box. He just about stayed onside, I think. It was tight, but he was too quick and smart for Keane. Pickford comes and makes himself big. Slaps that ball behind for a corner. Tottenham's second of the game. Actually looked to come off the torso of Pickford as he spread himself starfish-like. It's a low whip ball in from the corner, and it bounces round in the box. Everton punch this one away through Luca Dean. Everyone squeezes forward for Everton as Spurs arrow the ball back into the Toffees box. Falls down to Reguilon. Iwobi will come away with it though, and he's got a bit of space to run into. Now looks to pick a pass for Richarlison, and he finds him. He's got three Tottenham players back in defence, but can send it on to Sigurdsson. Out on the left-hand side, he's going to be beaten to that ball by Alderweireld. And Tottenham clear to touch. Sigurdsson points to say he wanted that ball inside the box and rolled out in front of his path rather than played out wide. Miscommunication between the two Everton attackers. But they'll come again with Hammers. Sigurdsson this time gets the ball into feet. Leaves it for Dean. Back to Davis. Now a bit of space in midfield for Allan. Richarlison has made a run to the edge of the box. Now shows to Allan. He's got Iwobi in support on the right-hand side, but Richarlison's trying to deal with this all on his own. Now he leaves it for Hammers. He's attempting to create an angle for a shot. Never came, so it's back to Hammers via Sigurdsson, and Everton continue to build. Passage of play this by the home side. Iwobi into the box, low ball, deflects away. Godfrey flicks it up into the air now. Tries the volley, it comes off a Tottenham torso. Almost fell for Richarlison, but Spurs clear. And it comes to Allan, who now has a battle with Son, but it's the Everton man who comes out on top. Allan changes the angle of approach, goes across the left-hand side with Dean. Davis swivels away just over the halfway line. And Godfrey. He's going to go forwards and offer himself as an option further down the line for Iwobi, but Everton will go infield. Davis lays off for Alan. Charlison under pressure, first time pass to Davis. And again, Everton really building momentum here. This is how they ended the first half, on the front foot, and the last 3 or 4 minutes they've been penning Tottenham further and further back. Almost 10 gone in this second half. Everton 1, Tottenham 1. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Hammers to Alan, who tries the first time ball. That's through to Lloris. He's become more influential as this game has gone on, Hammers. We said earlier that he miscontrolled a few times in the opening stages of the match. And he had looked a little bit off speed since returning from injury recently, but he's very much having his say on proceedings now as Reguilon is dispossessed on the edge of the Everton box. Some appeals that they should have a free kick, and Pickford's just put this one into touch. I think he thought Reguilon was still down injured there, but he got up and had got back into position. Tottenham are sportingly going to return it to the goalkeeper. Pickford there could have just got on with it himself initially. Anyway, Keane out to Holgate. Pickford will launch this one downfield towards the halfway line. Richarlison can flick on, but as we've seen on a few occasions, there's no one there making the run in behind. It's the type of position that Richarlison would normally be making the run into when Calvert-Lewin is in the side. Big target man getting those flick-ons, and Richarlison breaks on to pick up the pieces, but it's Tottenham who are now coming forwards, and the shot here deflected over the roof of the net. There's an awkward moment there for Pickford. Dean got his body in the way to prevent Ndombele's shot from cleanly going on target. And Pickford was left helpless, really. Hit the stanchion just behind the goal. It was dropping down with interest, but just not quite quickly enough. There was a half-hearted little skip from Pickford. I think he realised as he was starting to make that movement that he wasn't going to be forced into action. Son with the corner. Lanced on at the near post, and Pickford has put this behind. In fact, it might well have gone behind before the goalkeeper got a touch. But it was Alderweireld who met it beyond the near post. Yeah, Pickford actually put his hand through the side of his goal, and the ball had already crossed the byline by that point. He had his angles covered, but it would have been a difficult save to make it. It'd been on target. He was sort of colliding with the post and netting. And he will take the resulting goal kick. Yet to see a change for either side. 57 minutes played. We're getting towards that territory where managers will look to their bench. There's not a great deal on the bench this evening for Everton. I'll take you through the replacements for the respective sides now as Pickford just picks up the ball on the edge of his own box. Injuries mean that Carlo Ancelotti only has Broadhead, Coleman, John, King, Nkunku, Olsen, Price, Virginia and Welsh as backup. Two of those, of course, goalkeepers. For Tottenham, there's Ali, Bale, Hart, Lamella, Lo Celso, Lucas, Sanchez, Tanganga and Winks. That is how it looks for both managers if they feel they need to try and change the face of this game in the next half an hour or just over that we've got remaining of regulation time. Just over 58 minutes played. Holgate clears from just shy of his byline. Can't find Richarlison, and Eric Dyer now has some time on the ball. Inside the centre circle, comes out to Højbjerg, who has avoided any further difficulties in the tackle since picking up a yellow card in the opening stages of this match. Speaking of substitutions, and looks as though Everton are going to blink first. Seamus Coleman taking his training top off and putting his black armband on. Still players up and down the country paying Their respects and tributes to Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip. There was a period of silence once again ahead of tonight's game. Godfrey finding Iwobi on the halfway line under pressure, manages to stand strong against the attentions of Højbjerg. And now out to the left-hand side they go, looking for Dean, but Aurier gets the tackle in. Everton quickly on with the throw-in. Sissoko dangles a foot out, but he can't dispossess Holgate. And now into the box it goes with Richarlison, who will slot home. The flag, though, I think has gone up, and it has. The look on Richarlison's face suggested it wasn't going to stand. He did look offside when he received the ball. Oh, he's a good couple of yards. There is no need for VAR to be referred to here. The video assistant referee can leave this one to the on-field officials. Richarlison did the right thing, of course. Get it under control and slot it into the back of the net and then see what comes afterwards. Now Everton are going to make their first change of the game. Alex Iwobi goes off and Seamus Coleman comes on. Might well mean that the captain's armband is handed over as well from Sigurdsson to Coleman. It does. Coleman puts that on now as he strides onto the field. I do wonder if it's going to mean a change in formation for Everton, as they have been playing with Alex Iwobi as a wing-back tonight. I'll try and work that out as the game develops. Coleman is capable of playing that role. Doesn't quite have the legs that he maybe once did earlier in his career, but yeah, it certainly looks as though Godfrey is still rather wide on this right-hand side, so I think Coleman is just coming in to replace Iwobi directly as a wing-back. Here he is on the ball, brings it down and moves it infield to Richarlison, gets it back, now the cross, finding a teammate, and they have the goal. Sigurdsson with his second of the match, a cool left-footed finish, first time, and what an impact that is from Seamus Coleman. Not sure if Carlo Ancelotti expected him to come on and impact the game so greatly, so quickly, but a break forwards, a 1-2 with Richarlison, an inch-perfect ball for Gylfi Sigurdsson, and Everton have the advantage. It's Everton 2, Tottenham 1. Seamus Coleman only came off the bench a mere 10 seconds ago. Immediately the ball falls to his feet. He breaks down the right-hand side, rolls it infield for Richarlison, gets the return. First time cross to find Sigurdsson, and Gylfi Sigurdsson slots home left-footed. A cool left-footed finish, his second of the game. It is Everton 2, Tottenham 1. The Toffees lead. Well, that is some way to mark your introduction to the match. The man who handed over the captain's armband, assisted by the man who now leads the side on the field. Great combination work. And what have Tottenham got now? We said this earlier on when Everton fell behind. What kind of response did they have? A team that have struggled so greatly on home soil this season. They fought their way back onto level terms, arguably should have been ahead at the break. They started this second half well, they've got the goal that's now put them in front. As it stands, they will be going ahead of Tottenham in the table. In terms of a response, well, Jose Mourinho might well be hoping that his substitutes can have a similar impact. Eric Lamela and Lucas Moura are primed and ready to come on here. The board going up, and it looks as though Reguilon is going to be departing, and Ndombele also leaving the field. So two attack-minded players onto the pitch, certainly much more attacking than the ones that are departing. Haven't got a great record away of late, Tottenham, just 2 wins in their last 7. Sergio Reguilon slams down his coat as he heads to the bench. Of course, he was the man who was just torn apart out wide by Seamus Coleman. And that 1-2 and allowed the Republic of Ireland man to deliver the ball for Sigurdsson to finish. You'll Remember as well, he was the one that gave away the penalty in the first half that allowed Everton on to level terms, so it's not been his night. Højbjerg. Dyer. It'll be interesting to see how Everton manage the game from here on out as well. Do they feel that they can protect a 2-1 lead, or are they going seeking a third and trying to kill it off? We've got around 25 minutes left. Lucas Moura's first action in the game. He's played a poor ball that will go all the way through to Hugo Lloris. Ndombele is still making his way around the outside of the pitch. Of course, the new rules that came in last season now, stating that players have to leave at the closest exit point. So he's watching on as his teammates try to battle their way back into proceedings on the field. Ball forwards for Tottenham, but it's going to go all the way through to Lloris once again. As things stand, Everton are climbing up to 7th. They'll be 2 points ahead of Tottenham, and they'll have a game in hand on Spurs as well. They will be 1 point shy of 6th place Liverpool, and they're 3 adrift of Chelsea, 4 behind 4th place West Ham. From the conclusion of tonight's game, they will have played the same amount of matches as all of those 3 sides up ahead of them. But Liverpool are set to play on Monday. They travel away to Leeds United. Chelsea are in FA Cup action this weekend, a semi-final against Manchester City, and West Ham United go to Newcastle United tomorrow. Coleman for Everton, infield. Tottenham managed to get an interception. And now it's brought out of defence by Alderweireld. Have got some big games on the horizon as well, Everton. They still have to play Arsenal, that's their next game away at the Emirates, but a match against West Ham United could well prove crucial in trying to close in on the Hammers in the race for a top 4 spot potentially. They go to the London Stadium on the 8th of May. Also got to play Aston Villa, Sheffield United, Wolves and Manchester City. Davis has it in midfield and he's just slowing the play down at the moment for Everton. I think this is all part of the game management now really for the Toffees. They go back to Pickford. Home, first time with the volley. And the game is all level once more. It's Everton 2, Tottenham 2. Another mistake at the back from Everton. Michael Keane guilty of making a mistake when Tottenham managed to score the opening goal of this game. Harry Kane profited that time, and it's Kane once again who takes full advantage this time around. Michael Keane tries to head away across from Eric Lamela. He heads it into the back of his own teammate Mason Holgate. It bounces into the path of Kane, who hits it first time right-footed into the top left corner. It's Everton 2, Tottenham 2. Well, they'd rarely threatened, having fallen behind. Immediately the camera is now panned to Gareth Southgate, and there's lots of reasons why he'd be interested in that goal. Of course, Harry Kane, his England captain, hitting for the second time tonight, but Michael Keane, a man who was left out of the most recent England squad, has done little to endear himself to the manager tonight. Jordan Pickford between the sticks, another that'll be having a close eye on. Mason Holgate too. I don't think Pickford's at fault for any of the goals he's conceded, in fairness. There's lots of players out there for Southgate to be casting an eye over tonight. And you also take into consideration the likes of Tom Davies of Everton as well. Eric Dyer of Tottenham. Free kick swung into the Tottenham box now, but Hugo Lloris will come and claim it. The French World Cup winner clears away early, seeking out Son. It's headed clear by Dean. And Lucas Moura now brings it down. Works it infield to Sissoko. And Lamela. 4-4 when these two sides last met at Goodison Park in the FA Cup. Everton haven't actually managed to pick up 3 victories in a row over Tottenham since 1986. That's what they're seeking to do tonight, having won in the Premier League and come out on top in that FA Cup clash. Son having a pop from the edge of the box here, and that deflects back to him, laid off to Lucas. Cross comes in, Kane with the header, and it's wide of the goal. I think Pickford might well have got a touch to it. That's certainly what Kane is trying to say, but the look on his face suggests that he's not going to get the decision for a corner. We'll take a closer glance at it here. He's onside, Kane. No, I think it comes off the outside of the post rather than the hand of Pickford. It's a really intelligent header from Kane. It's sort of lofted to him, and he has to use his neck muscles to try and help it on. Yeah, it just glances off the outside of the woodwork. Tottenham going close to edging in front. Everton's win against Tottenham earlier this season in the Premier League actually ended a 16-game run without a victory over Spurs in the top flight. You had to go back to December 2012 for the last time they'd managed it, and it was a dramatic win that time around when Steven Pienaar and Nikica Jelavic scored in the final 5 minutes of the match to cancel out Clint Dempsey's earlier strike. Tottenham going back to Lloris. First time away by the goalkeeper. Headed forward by Keane. It has been talked up recently by Ancelotti after he was omitted from Gareth Southgate's most recent England squad. Ancelotti said he was confident that Keane could still force his way into the Three Lions boss's plans for the Euro 2020 competition. Has had a good season for the Toffees. He's got lots of options all over the pitch, Southgate. It's an unenviable task, I think, trying to trim that squad down for the tournament. There's going to be some unhappy customers and lots of critics, no doubt about that. Coleman attempting a cross here, and that's just gone behind for a goal kick. Just seeing some replays of an incident involving Rodon and Coleman. Coleman thought he'd been fouled by another Tottenham player, and then Coleman got up and sprinted across the field to Rodon. I don't know if something had been said. Game is currently stopped as Godfrey is receiving a little bit of treatment. Got just over 15 minutes left to play. It's on a knife edge. Everton 2, Tottenham 2. unofficial off-tube studio commentary, there's actually a cut on the hand of Godfrey. I'm not quite sure where that has come from, but he's getting it tended to rather on the field. He will have to leave the pitch for a couple of moments as he gets some strapping across the hand and knuckles. It doesn't get any better when you see the replays of that goal that Tottenham have just scored. I mean, the finish is great from Harry Kane. Mr. Dependable for Spurs, but the way that the ball arrives at his feet actually comes off the back of Holgate's leg. 21 goals now for Harry Kane this season. He's the Premier League's leading scorer, top of the charts as far as it goes when it comes to race for the Golden Boot, and again it will lead to further suggestions that maybe he does need to leave Spurs at the end of the season. He's clearly doing his part in front of goal, but being let down by others. They could miss out on Champions League football this term, and someone of his ability, that seems a real shame. Bouncing ball that Richarlison tries to attack, but he just misjudges it, and Rodon brings it down. Alderweireld into midfield, Spurs go, and carried on forward now by Lamela. He's got Son breaking into the box, but Lamela wants to go on his own. It's over the bar. Looked as though there was a really simple ball on for Son there, who had managed to take up a position in between Keane and the fullback Godfrey, and if that ball had just been rolled into the box, it was potentially on just for him to stride onto right-footed. Lamela wanted to do it all on his own. Part of the problem, I think, sometimes when you come on as a sub and desperate to impact the game, you feel that you've got to be the one scoring the goal, but might well earn a little bit more respect for making the right decision as long as it leads to a goal and being unselfish. Pickford with the resulting goal kick, and he's found touch there. It's poor from the Everton keeper. Mourinho remains rooted to his bench. A really good record against against Everton rather, have Tottenham. Have beaten them 27 times previously in the Premier League. That's more than they've beaten any other opponent. As it stands though, we could be heading for a draw tonight, unless either side has got a match winner in them that's ready to step up. "13 attempts in total for Everton, 11 for Tottenham. Tottenham have actually had the lion's share in this second half. Everton have had 3 and Spurs have had 7. Sigurdsson under pressure, goes back to Holgate. And Pickford works it nicely into midfield with Allan. I wonder if he'll see through the full 90 after just coming back from injury. Everton have still only made the one change. James. He's got 3 or 4 blue shirts up ahead of them. None of them are really in space though. So he comes across to Allan, and now Davis. Richarlison gets the ball off to James, but he's immediately under pressure on the edge of the Spurs box. And Aurier now has it. Clears away. Lofted towards the halfway line. Son chest down, but Allan gets a footing. Cleared away by Sissoko. Godfrey nods down to Coleman, who turns really cutely. Richarlison breaking down the right, as is Godfrey, and it's the latter who gets onto it, tries to squeeze it infield to Richarlison. Spurs get a foot in and clear. And Everton are back in their own half, where Keane, under pressure from Kane, will head to his goalkeeper Pickford. Moved on quickly out to Davis. Allan. Switch of play now for James. looking to come across the width of the field, but there's a deflection and Spurs can now break. There's an Everton man who stayed down there. Kane is into the box. The match will continue. Shot away. It's deflected. Pickford comes and was hesitant but gets there. He shouts at Michael Oliver and wants to know why there was no free kick given when James ended up on the floor. James had tried to play the ball across the field. There was a Tottenham man who came to close him down. And in the process of attempting to close him down, the ball was lost by Everton. James felt he was caught. We'll see the replay now. Yeah, there might have been a little bit of afters, but I think there was enough on the ball, to be honest, and that's why Tottenham were allowed to break. It would have been controversial had they gone on to score. Kane's shot coming off the leg of Godfrey, and eventually Pickford getting down to it, although he seemed a bit hesitant to do so. He sort of stumbled and stuttered towards the ball. Højbjerg was the closest to it. Not quite sure what's been going on with Mourinho, but he's just retreating back from the side of the field to his bench, so he's clearly had a word or two to say there. Carlo Ancelotti has been around the block enough times though that he won't be dragged into a verbal exchange too easily. He's normally Mr. Calm, Ancelotti. Recent polls suggesting that Everton fans, of all the Premier League fans, are most happy with their manager, even though they could still miss out on European football. Pickford will play out from the back now to the left-hand side with Dean. Clips it down the line, but the ball there has taken a nick, so Everton will have the throw. Into the final 10 minutes. Everton 2, Tottenham 2. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Harry Kane with a brace. Gylfi Sigurdsson with a brace. Here's Tom Davies. Over the halfway line he goes. Tries to send it down the line for Godfrey, but Spurs get a boot in and it bounces through to Lloris. Rolled out at the back to Højbjerg under pressure from James. Returned to his goalkeeper. Lofted out wide towards Lucas Moura, but he's beaten in the air, always will be, you'd imagine, by Ben Godfrey. Davis flicks out wide for Coleman, who asks for some support, but then tries to turn in the opposite direction, away from that support, and wins his side of throw-in. James to take. Into Davis, returned back to James. And Godfrey. James caught in possession, and now Tottenham can break. They've got Son carrying, goes infield to Lamela. Son and Kane both forwards in support, but Lamela runs into the tackle, and again the move breaks down. Pickford will get Everton moving through Davis. Richarlison has peeled away here. He's all on his own in this attack, but he might have just won Everton a corner. He has. Tried to turn inside the challenge of Rodon, but Rodon's foot connecting with the ball, and Everton have the set piece. They're going to make a change in a moment. Josh King is on the touchline and ready to be introduced. I think they'll take this corner before they decide to make the change. Although there appears to be a bit of confusion. Yeah, it does seem the corner is going to be taken first. Headed away by Spurs. Clipped further clear by Lamela. And then Dean puts into touch. That should now allow Everton to make this change. And it's going to be Tom Davies to depart. With January arrival, Josh King on in his place. Still fighting for his future at Everton, King. Signed on a deal which runs until the end of the term after arriving from Bournemouth. There's an agreement between the two clubs that his contract set to expire at the Cherries, that it would allow him to move on, and Everton handing him this short-term deal with the opportunity to impress as Coleman drags a shot wide. He's yet to get on the score sheet, Joshua King, for Everton. He's looked slightly off the pace when I've seen him in action. hospital ball into midfield there for Everton to go and win, and it's King now who will put it into the box, and the shot there saved. Follow-up is over the bar from Richarlison. Well, he had a great chance to put Everton back in front. King heavily involved in that move. So the ball was won by Richarlison in midfield. King carried. In fact, rather, it was James who carried, King with the shot. That was saved by Lloris, and Richarlison's follow-up fired over the crossbar. Really should be doing better, Richarlison. Lloris was pretty much out the picture. If it's on target, it's in the back of the net. There's no question about that. Duncan Ferguson had already half started sprinting down the touchline. He was ready to try and hit that one himself. I do have to say, had Dominic Calvert-Lewin been in the side, you feel he would have put that one in the back of the net. Richarlison deputising for him in the central striker's role at the moment. Led to believe that Calvert-Lewin will be back for Everton's next game against Arsenal, so that's good news for the Toffees. They have sorely missed him over the last couple of matches. Could be set here to... We'll just hold off as a cross comes in. Lloris will claim that. They could be set here to go 6 games now across all competitions without a win. Of course, 5 of those will be in the Premier League, and it'll be 3 draws in a row. It's really seeing them lose momentum in their race for a European spot. How much the Everton fans would revel in the achievement of potentially finishing ahead of Liverpool. If they do win tonight, which they would require a goal for, they'll be just a point behind the Reds. Ahead of Liverpool's meeting with Leeds on Monday. It should be a very interesting affair with the form Leeds are in and Liverpool's inconsistency this season. It was a great game that actually got the Premier League campaign up and running this term when Leeds went down at Anfield in a high-scoring clash. We've got just under 4 minutes of the 90 left. Tottenham taking a free kick on the halfway line, working it across the left-hand side with Rodon. Forwards to Kane, who tried to work it infield first time, but it was misplaced. So James for Everton. Back to Alan. And now Dean. As I said from the outset, I think a draw and a point is better for Everton than it is for Spurs, although both would rather a win. Keeps Everton just a point behind Spurs and with a game in hand on them. Pickford out to the left-hand side with Dean. Now King. Infield to Richarlison, who looks for the return ball, but Aurier was alive and alert to that. Cleared away as far as Sigurdsson. Now James lofts one to the byline. Dean cuts it back across. Spurs with a combination of players to clear. Out as far as Kane, who will go down under challenge from King. And Spurs relieve the pressure by winning a free kick. Not much else Luca Dean could do with that one at the byline. He was right on the whitewash and just had to try and cut it back first time. It was into a dangerous area, but unfortunately for him and Everton, it was directed more so towards a Tottenham player. Time fast running out for these two sides to chip in with a winner. Pickford has the ball in his hands. He's going to arrow this ball out with his hands to Godfrey. James. Alan returns it to James. Into space. Everton players breaking ahead of him. Dabbed out left-hand side for Dean. There's 3 in the box. 4 now as James gets to the byline. Cross behind. For a corner. Sissoko, the man who tracked James all the way. Lots of movement in the box as the delivery comes in. It's just gone beyond Keane. And he's adjudged to have fouled, so free kick to Tottenham. Seemed desperate to get to that one, Keane, and it's no surprise. Having been involved in two unfortunate incidents, mistakes that have led to each of Tottenham's 2 goals. You can understand why he really wants to get himself on the score sheet at the other end to atone for those errors. Header forwards now by Keane as Lloris cleared away from that free kick. It's going to be another free kick for Spurs, this time Richarlison has committed a foul on Rodon. And they'll leave the free kick for Lloris to take. It's just shy of midway through Tottenham's half. I imagine this one's just going to be sent long to see if they can get the knockdown, but they won't. Holgate is there first, heads off the side of the field. The board has gone up, and 3 minutes we will have of additional time at the end of this clash at Goodison Park. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Everton 2, Tottenham 2. Alan wins Everton a throw-in. Inside their own half of the field. Oh, we're going to have one final chance and one more twist in this tale. Well, Richarlison has flicked on, and the move is opening up quite nicely here for Everton. It's King. He's got 2 in the box to aim for. His cross is deflected away. It's a corner. Is the script written for someone like Michael Keane to be the saviour for the Toffees? It was Richarlison who had flicked that ball on for King down the line, and Sigurdsson and Hammers have both made runs into the box, but just couldn't quite get the cross away. We've had a minute of the 3 additional. Hammers with the corner. It might fall in the box here for Godfrey, but he side-footed it well wide of goal. There's a bit of a melee in the box in truth, and I don't think Godfrey quite expected it to arrive on him. And Michael Keane is having his shirt almost pulled off his back there by Joe Rodon. I mean, you don't get penalties for that too often, to be honest, and Michael Oliver is unsighted. I don't think it's something VAR are looking at. There's a few players that have come out of the box limping. Kane is one of them. Rodon another. Kane has actually just gone down onto his haunches, holding the top of his right foot. That doesn't look good for Tottenham ahead of their Carabao Cup final with Manchester City next weekend. Last thing they want is their top scorer to be out for any period of time. Ooh, yeah, he's just rolled his ankle there. Richarlison fell to the floor, and he just falls sort of down the calf and onto the ankle of Kane, and you can see it just rolls onto the side of his foot. He's limping off the side of the field now. I wonder if he's going to re-emerge here. No, Dele Alli is going to come on, so Kane's evening is over. It's the right call, I think, just to make sure that he doesn't have to run on that any further. And hope for the best. So Ali on for what is likely to be only a minute or so. Everton opening up an attack. James, he's got Coleman to his right, but decides to go infield to Sigurdsson. Reverse ball to James. Is he on for the shot? It's wide of goal. That might well be that. We're going to be over 3 minutes by the time Lloris gets us back underway. And it looks as though these two sides will be shaking hands on a point apiece. Lloris will send it long downfield. We are going to get slightly more than the 3 minutes due to that injury to Harry Kane. But I don't imagine it'll be too much longer. At the referee's discretion now. Tottenham midway through Everton's half. Alderweireld struggling to find the options. Eventually it goes to the head of Son. Finds Højbjerg, but he's lost the ball, and Coleman has it. It's a free kick here. In fact, no, it's the whistle for full time. That's it, done and dusted. Nothing to separate these two sides at the full time whistle. it has finished. Everton 2, Tottenham